What is going on, everybody? It is episode 488 of Pop Culture Crisis, not 489, as I see DC&C saying in the chat. My name is Brett, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. We have a guest on the show today who hasn't been here in a minute. It's Dane.
Hello, everyone.
Adding some seasoning to this pasty cracker episode.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what he's doing.
Hey, we're going to talk about some important topics today.
Yes, we got a bunch of exciting and important things to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. But before we get started, would you please go and hit the like button on this video, subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed to this channel yet, please. Also remember to turn the notification bell on. I get that one wrong every time. Turn the notification bell on so that you can be notified anytime a new episode goes live or a new segment goes up. And also remember that all Super Chats, $20 and over, we will interrupt the discussion. We will read them right then and there, and then we will do our best to get on topic. And considering today is going to involve talking about the new Mean Girls trailer, I imagine that there are people in the chat who have things to say on this issue. I posted about both Ghostbusters and the Marvel's box office scores and just asked people what they thought about it on my Twix earlier. People had a lot to say. I'm sure a lot of other people do as well. So if you guys are ready...
I love Twix.
You love Twix?
I love Twix.
It's good. It's good. If you guys are ready, we will just go ahead and just get right into it. Mary, are you ready?
I am ready.
Dane, are you ready?
Yes.
He's ready, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get started then. All right, first things first. We got some bad news going on over at Marvel, ladies and gentlemen. Is there any other kind lately? If you look right now, the score for the Marvels is sitting at 53% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is not good for them right now, considering... the movie's an hour and 45 minutes long. Nobody seems to be all that excited about it. All the press about it seems to be negative. And it's kind of...
The critics usually like this shit.
Yeah. I mean, they can be a little bit unbiased when they want to be. But if this one is... If they can't even get behind girl power Brie Larson movie, and I'm sure this upsets Dane, given that he loves Brie Larson.
I do.
He does.
The biggest fan.
He's a huge fan of Brie Larson. I saw that they put like a Marvel's logo on the sphere in Vegas. The cat is in the sphere.
They call us the Breezies.
The what?
The Breezies.
That's what they call Brie Larson fans?
Yeah. I just made it up.
Wait, does she? Oh, she doesn't call you that.
No.
She probably does. She have? It's not as good as Crisis Actors.
Dane is so thirsty that he has the largest bottle of water next to him known to mankind. There it is.
Look at this.
It looks smaller when it's next to your giant beard, but promise you guys, it's huge.
It is
Yeah.
huge.
So we're going to see this movie tomorrow, right?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, okay, so tomorrow's Thursday. So we're going to see this movie tomorrow. We are going to review it
With our special guest.
So we're going to review it on Friday live on the show. It's sort of funny. Me and Mary were talking about it off air yesterday, and I was like, oh, maybe we should put the review at the end of the episode in case people want to go see it.
And I was like, literally no one in our audience is planning on watching the Marvels. Or if they are, they certainly don't care about us spoiling it for them.
Yeah.
I had a hard time believing that one.
Yeah.
So
let's hope.
If any of you are gonna be watching out for spoilers for the Marvels, please drop that in the chat. I doubt it.
Yeah.
I doubt you are.
I'm checking with Andrew. It's saying the bit rate on our stream is running low right now. I'm double checking to make sure that we're okay.
So many frames lost on my beard.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's getting mad at you. So, yeah,
Looks good to me.
It looks fine to me. If anything changes, we'll go as we go. So, yeah, I'm not exactly looking forward to it, but like I said, at under 2 hours, they've got at least one thing going for them. And also, I saw Nerdrotic and Quarter Black Garrett were like posting yesterday. Like they posted their seats in the theaters, and they're like the only seat taken in the whole theater.
I don't remember. I bought these tickets super early, so more have been taken since then, but
Yeah.
I doubt it's going to be packed.
Yeah. So it's we'll see. I mean, I always get my seat at the very end of.
And we see it earlier than everyone else because we see it on a Thursday
Yeah.
instead of Friday. But yeah, just looking forward to dunking on it and stealing or sneaking food into the theater.
What if you like it?
If I like it,
yeah.
I will be totally honest about that. And I always say that, like, I don't go into movies wanting to hate my life. but
It just so happens.
it just so happens that they actually suck. And I would be honest about it if I liked it.
Except Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots: The Last Wish was like the best moment in cinema of last year.
Yeah,
Truly.
And I if anything, I get called out for saying that I'm too generous with the movie reviews. So I don't think
You are.
I don't think anyone's worried about me giving it like too negative of a review.
Well, should I watch Captain Marvel before I see this?
I would. I mean, maybe if for no other reason than it gives you some background on the character. I'm not going to rewatch it. And I remember, I'm actually
I don't wanna watch
I'm kind of putting you in a
Captain
bad place because
Marvel.
I remember nothing of Captain Marvel, but other than being like
Sum
kind
it
of
up for
impressed.
me
I was kind of
somehow.
impressed with Samuel L. Jackson coming back. It's we'll go, maybe, how about this? Go into it without a summary, and then maybe you're not having like a background on it will make it less.
I'm
awful
definitely
for you.
not going to watch 2 whole Marvel
Yeah.
TV shows to prepare for this.
Yeah. Yep.
Like
So-
you're supposed to as a diligent MCU stan.
So we'll go and see it, and we'll see how it turns out. But also, guys, here's some good news. There was a trailer for Ghostbusters. It's called Ghostbusters: The Frozen
Climate
Empire.
Change Empire.
So it's called The Frozen Empire. I really enjoyed this trailer for the most part, and I will point out one thing that somebody was right about. They said it looks like The Day After Tomorrow, the movie, the movie Day After Tomorrow with Emmy Rossum back in like 2004, which is like where Dennis Quaid or whoever like predicts climate change is going to end the world in like 100 years, and then it happens like as he's leaving the climate conference.
I just recognized the song.
That movie was great.
Is it called It's a Cruel Summer? I just thought of every time I hear that song, it's
Ace of Base.
Karate Kid.
Yeah.
I think of Karate Kid. So
It was an Ace of Base song. It's just called Cruel Summer.
Cruel Summer.
Cruel Summer.
Then
Good
Taylor
song.
Swift came along and ruined the
Yeah.
SEO for them.
Well, that's what I said. Like when that song comes up now the only thing that
Does
comes
she
up
have
is
to
Taylor
give
Swift.
them royalties?
I'm guessing
for the
if it-
lyric.
I've never heard the Taylor Swift version, so I have no idea if it's the same song.
There's literally a lyric that says "It's a cruel summer" in
Okay.
her song, so she might have to.
I wouldn't know.
Pay them
I don't
for
know how
it.
different it is from the rest of them. But here's the thing
Is it
about
about
the movie.
climate change?
No, I do not believe it is. So in the trailer, basically they talk about how that hell freezes over. Right? So the original version of this it's called the Death Chill. And it's basically the power to kill you with your thoughts alone. So your own fear will kill you. And Dan Aykroyd is explaining this. And somebody pointed out to me last week that there was actually like a Ghostbusters 3 script that was floating around back in the early 90s that Dan Aykroyd wrote for a movie called Ghostbusters Hellbent, which was basically like hell freezes over and sends all of the damned souls that have been trapped down there to Earth. And then the Ghostbusters have to come together to like vanquish them, which sounds like there's at least aspects of that might have been woven into this story. And the town, and that was like, the other version was like, one version was that they go to hell to fight the devil, and the other version was that it becomes part of an alternate Manhattan called Manhattan.
Okay,
that they
that's
battle.
dumb.
But the idea of an alternate universe was pretty radically different back in the 90s. It's not like now where
Yeah.
everything's a multiverse. This would have been fairly cool back in the day. It has Patton Oswalt and Kumail Nanjiani. So a lot of people, so I asked people on Twitter, I said, like, what do you guys think of this trailer? And some people said it looks fine. It looks like Stranger Things again without
Yeah, but
without
I
the
mean,
main
Finn
actors.
Wolfhard is in it, and I'm thinking
Yeah.
he's just playing the same character he does in Stranger Things.
And a lot of people didn't like that Patton Oswalt was in it. That doesn't really bother me. I've never, like I said, we've talked about 1,000 times before, I can separate the art from artist with stuff like this, even though Patton Oswalt sucks. And I'm actually not a huge fan of Kumail Nanjiani very much as an actor. I was a much bigger fan of him as a podcaster. It looks fine. If anything, I would have liked to have seen more of McKenna Grace, who was the MVP of the first movie. She wasn't in this trailer very much. The girl, the young girl. She was the star of the first one and really was what pulled the movie Ghostbusters Afterlife together. And that doesn't seem to be what they're focusing on here. It seemed like they focused more on like the other characters. They focused more on Dan Aykroyd giving that speech.
One comment said, I love Afterlife, but I also love the fact that they're relying less on nostalgia and more on something original. which might be why she was featured less.
Yeah, it sucks. Because I was hoping that they would, because she's obviously she's older now. She's probably even more like skilled as an actress because she's probably grown in that time period. I don't know how many I've never seen anything else that she's been in, so I don't know how many productions she's done from the first film to now. But theoretically, you're only going to get better as an actor, not worse, over a period of time.
You know, I've never seen the original.
You should see it.
And it's in my I have this list of movies to watch when I'm old and games to play when I'm old. There are like classics that I've never seen. Ghostbusters is one of them. Jurassic Park is another one.
You're missing out. Those are two big ones. Like those are ones that are so good you don't even need to see the sequels, even though people will tell you.
I know, but I missed them already, and I feel like these are kind of things that you should have done when you're young. So I'm gonna do it when I'm old.
Yeah, and one of the other things is like the movies that are that popular end up becoming pop culture references in modern entertainment so much that it ends up ruining it for you.
Oh, dude, for me, Ghostbusters, Space Camp, and Chuck E. Cheese's when I was in Puerto Rico was like America.
The movie is directed by Gil Keenan and written by Gil Keenan and Jason Reitman, whereas the first one was written by those two but directed by Jason Reitman. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. I think they could have probably featured more of the original cast, meaning I would have liked to have seen more of Bill Murray, Ernie Hudson, and Dan Aykroyd. But like you didn't see very much of Carrie Coon or much of Paul Rudd in there, other than that a couple of shots. It felt like it was actually pretty well spaced out between all the characters. Like all characters got more screen time in the trailer, when I think they should have focused on the characters that really worked in the first one, which was the McKenna Grace character.
What kind of blackmail does Paul Rudd have on people? That guy's in everything.
The ability to not age. He knows the secret. He doesn't really age that much, and I know this.
I was saying the same about Tina Fey.
Well, we're gonna talk about that at the end of this segment, but because I did watch Clueless recently.
Yeah,
and he
literally looks the same.
There's a new one?
No, the original Clueless. So yeah, guys, go ahead and check out the trailer. It's on
so
YouTube.
Funny. Playing a 19-year-old looked 30.
Yeah.
Playing a 40-year-old still looks 30.
Yeah. I thought he looked like he was in his mid-20s when he played the guy and the stepbrother or whatever. So, all right, let's go ahead. Dane, how do you feel about this? They're making a Legend of Zelda live-action movie.
So I've been really thinking about how to approach this topic here because, okay, so I guess spoilers for people. So in the game, there is a game where the ending is that the villain declares a curse on Link and the princess. And he's like, this will happen for eternity, like this ongoing battle between us. That's essentially like canonically explaining why essentially like most games are the same villain, same like more or less like conflict. And I really worry with them trying to girl boss this.
You think that's what they'll do?
I mean,
I don't see
they'll
any
do
hint
something.
at that here. And they did well with the Mario Bros film.
I mean, yeah, but Mario Bros was not live action. Like, I would have rather they just made an animated.
But yeah, same. But the thing is also that Zelda is a super interesting character, and she's technically like the descendant of a goddess. So I don't know, like
will it be based on but Link will be the main character, right?
Maybe like hopefully, but you never know with these people. And I feel like there's an angle to which you can make it mostly about her and have it be interesting. But what really worries me the most about a film adaptation is that Link in the games is like a silent protagonist. Yeah. He doesn't speak. Or the moments where supposedly he's speaking, they just show him be like kind of like The Sims.
Yeah.
And basically all he says is like context of actions.
And you'd rather they kept that, but how do you do that for movie?
How do you do that?
For movie
and
scenes?
Then, so the point of having a character be like that in a game, movie, or whatever is so that the player, the reader, can insert themselves in the character.
Which makes sense for that type of storytelling.
Right. But naturally, now we'll have like a rendition of Link, you know, like, oh, in this situation he would react like this, in this situation he would react like that, which for some people might be comforting, and for, I don't know, for others it can be distressing. So I'm sure there's a way to do this tactfully. I'm sure there's a way where this can be good, but I mean, the track record for movies from video games is abysmal.
But it's growing. The thing is, we've seen more success from that in the last year than we have in any other time period. So if there is a time to do it, the time would be now.
The thing is, though, success being like a 7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is like a AAA game. So you're probably not going to get like an Oscar nomination. Not that that means anything
No, a lot
anymore.
of the people that I saw talking about it when they were talking about casting was they were saying what they should do is they should focus on unknown actors so that the focus can be on
They
the
really
story
should.
and the, because a lot of people, what names do you think were immediately?
Like Tom Holland.
Tom Holland was immediately listed. Timothy Chalamet was immediately listed. Will Poulter was immediately
Lizzo.
listed. Lizzo would be immediately. Of course, that would be
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
I would totally watch that. See, no. I would have Lizzo play Mega Man.
Y'all, we saving Hyrule.
I would have Lizzo play Mega Man. And that's what I would.
There's an ocarina, so she could like desecrate the flute again.
People in the chat are saying Dylan Mulvaney is Zelda. There you go.
There we go.
There you go. Or somebody says Mary is Zelda. They could do that.
Oh, look at you.
Would that be a good choice? I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know anything about Zelda.
Like save Hyrule, maybe. I don't care.
But like people keep referencing the success of Mario, but Mario wasn't live action. Live action is a lot harder to do.
Well, if you do it animated, you also have to cater it to children and
Yeah.
a family-friendly audience.
Yeah. It says the reason we are so resistant and careful to adapt our games into movies is because in video games there's always a player who overcomes challenges and fights their way through. Again, that's not always easy if it's not a first person, if it's not like first person storytelling where one person takes up the majority of the story, which they tend to be hesitant to do these days because a lot of movies turn into ensemble casts that don't focus as much on one character.
And also in the game, a lot of the game is solving puzzles.
Yeah. How do you do that in a movie and have any rewatch
How do you
value?
portray that in a movie? Or
The point is they shouldn't make it a movie because the medium that it is a video game, they won't recognize is why it was popular.
Do you feel the same about Final Fantasy?
No, because I think Final Fantasy, in its inception, it was meant to be like a play from a diorama.
Okay.
And that's why kind of like the art style is the same, and the way it plays out, story wise, it is like beginning, middle, end. There's resolution. However, like I think Mary's point rings true. Like, I gotta stop saying like the point of the game, besides the lore, which it does have a interesting lore. And I think it's something that non-video game players can enjoy.
Which is what they're looking for.
Sure. But, again, the overcoming challenges, and I just feel like the story will lose a lot of gravity when you don't have that element.
Plus the playthrough time, like a big part of video games is like just the amount of time it takes to get through there. Like taking someone on that ride in less time.
These games are long.
And having the same emotional resonance with someone, I feel like would be very, very difficult. Mm-hmm. It'd be like, for me as a vintage video game fan, it would be like trying to bring the emotional resonance to Contra after you play Contra, which is, it takes a while to get done. Though people have pointed out that a lot of people really liked the Castlevania Netflix series, not the new one. I guess the new, the continuation is really, really bad, but the Netflix animated the Netflix animated Castlevania,
I heard it was good.
Was very, very well liked. So I
Bless you. So I'm
bless you.
cautiously optimistic about this.
Excuse me.
Is what I guess mine.
We'll see. We'll absolutely see what goes on with it. But in more news, so just yesterday, folks, we were talking about Taylor Swift and staying not out of politics, but the fact that
Staying
she
out
wasn't
of geopolitics mainly, but
She's-
she's perfectly happy to jump into American politics
Yes.
discourse and has encouraged her fans once again to vote, get to the polls. She posted on her Instagram story, "Voters gonna vote. It's election day. If you're registered to vote in Colorado, Kentucky, Maine, Mississippi, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Texas, or Virginia, it's time to use your voice. Find out what's on your ballot before you arrive to the polls by visiting vote.org."
Yep.
She can truly be the first female president, couldn't she?
Probably.
She did not post this, obviously. Somebody who runs her page posted it for her because that's just what you do as a celebrity now.
Correct.
But there was a lot of people that weren't exactly happy with this. So these
They
were
call
some
her
of the
jet-setting climate change activist who endorses Democrats, attacks Republicans, and performs for communist human rights abusing China's Singles Day.
Yeah, but there was, I mean, it's not just them, though. There was also people on the other side of the aisle that had a problem with it. Here, this one, it says, "A vague go vote story in 1989 TV font that will disappear in 24 hours isn't activism. Grow a backbone," somebody says. To which I say, why? She doesn't owe you anything.
Another
bruh.
person said, "Taylor Swift's activism is so funny to me. Telling people to register to vote is less than the bare minimum. Why did she release a whole documentary based around becoming politically active just to do nothing other than sign a single petition 5 years ago?"
This is funny because I've been seeing so much of this lately. So one of the things that I've been noticing is like a lot of celebrities, like internet celebrities, like influencers, right? Who have these very, very active social media pages. And I tend to sometimes, when it's late at night, I will throw on the hazmat suit and I will go spelunking through the comment sections of some of the of these things, and not even controversial topics, right? Just like prank videos or stuff. And I see these things where they're like, I was telling Mary about this yesterday. There's this video where this influencer, she changes her husband, like her husband has a well-organized closet, like it's all by color, and she goes and she changes the order of it all. And I was like, first of all, that's going to set off all of the OCD people, which it did. The comment section was a cesspool. But then
This is ableist, actually.
Yeah, but there was a bunch of comments that were basically like, how can you change someone's closet when there's people dying halfway around the world? And that's the tone of the internet right now.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not a time to play pranks on your husband. There's people dying. I'm like, bro, there's people dying every day, everywhere. You could have said that a week ago. I'm like, there's people dying in Chicago on the weekends. This is no time to change your closet. What are you doing? Right? Like, this is the world we live in now, where
I'm gonna tell that to my
celebrities-
wife when she wants me to do chores. Like, there's people dying right now.
Exactly.
You want me to do laundry?
Remember back in the day, like I don't know if this happened to you guys, but when I was young and you didn't want to finish your dinner, your mom said there's starving kids in Africa. Like, and I was like, what does that have to do?
For me, it was China. Gotta add that
Oh, yeah?
anti-communist propaganda
Okay.
in the
Based.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you're not allowed to just be one or the other now. And it's like, I'm going to defend her right to not care or understand that it's bad publicity to take a side on what's going on in the Middle East. She knows that it would be a lose-lose situation for her to answer to those calls that people are making.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why do all celebrities now have to also be some type of mouth, or as what's his name would say, on his soapbox? Why do they have to all be on a soapbox to comment on issues that they don't really care about?
Dude, I have no idea, because by now there is enough data to prove that this is a bad move.
In what way?
So, like, how many more celebrities need to get dunked on every time they post the lowest common denominator opinion about anything political? It's been happening for time again, and they keep doing it. It's kind of like how every movie they like diversify it and whatever, and people keep getting angry and they keep calling them racist and sexist, and it's like, then the box office, it's not a hit. It's like, oh, we never saw it coming. It's like, well, it's been 10 years of this.
Yeah. I mean, way longer. Celebrities have been doing this for as long as celebrities have existed. They just have more access to it now because of the social media, right?
The Swifties for Palestine are just pointing out the hypocrisy of how Taylor Swift is always getting... She's a political mouthpiece and picks and chooses when it's convenient to do that.
Yeah.
Rather than speaking on the inconvenient issue that's going to divide her fan base, which we've recognized is smart from a marketing perspective, but shows that she is disingenuous the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Which they should have known already. but they're stupid, so they don't know that.
That's crazy. Like, I grew up just assuming that everything a celebrity was saying was a lie or designed to further their
Wasn't
career.
that the consensus in like the 2000s?
I would imagine that.
That celebrities are airheads. They don't know what they're talking about.
You can actually see that, and it's funny because I do watch a fair amount of TV that, like, anytime you watch like a police procedural where they have to like investigate an actor, the actors are always portrayed as like the biggest bimbo airheads you've ever. They're always,
even when they're victims.
always selfish. They're always they're always narcissistic. They're all of these things. And that's why I actually kind of laugh when I would make fun of or I would get angry at the fact that they would stereotype middle America in a lot of ways. And then I realized they just think lowly of everyone and stereotype everyone. They just don't write as much stuff about their own in-group, right? So anytime you see one of these characters, they're always stupid. They're always drug addicts too. Like they're always addicted to drugs. So it says a lot about what they think of their own people. And I have no problem with them calling that out. Think of what was the movie, The Bubble. All the actors are insufferable in The Bubble because they're supposed to be. They're actors. The actors playing the actors. Yeah.
I don't know. When I was younger, I feel like I thought that actors that would play serious roles were smarter, and then the comedies ones were more goofy.
I mean, the process.
That was kind of like the PR.
The process of filmmaking is still intensive, even when you're making comedies. There's no place less joyous on planet Earth than the set of a comedy. When somebody basically blows a bullhorn and says "be funny," is there anything in the world that's less conducive to comedy?
I don't know. The early 2000s was banger.
No, I'm not saying the movies are bad. I'm saying that the process of actually making them can be extremely soul-sucking.
I bet, yeah.
So it's like you have to wait, like, because you're gonna. It's one thing to watch a comedy and you're watching it and it's funny and it makes you laugh and it puts you in the mood to be humorous. It's a whole nother thing to wake up. Oh, you're tired. Oh, I'm sore. I'm hungover. Now I have to go on set and say something that's going to make millions of people laugh one day. That's just. That's not as easy, I think, as people make it out to be. The industry as a whole is full of selfish, self-interested people. It's the way of the world. I don't know what happened between 2015 and now, which made people believe that celebrities were now somehow good people, but they were lied to. They were lied to.
When every female celebrity was regarded in the ranks of Paris Hilton.
Yeah, that was, and we're going to be talking about that today, ladies and gentlemen, because we've got, we're going to get into, we've got another fantastic day of celebrity quotes.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. So, all right. It's the end of an era, ladies and gentlemen. Did you see this, Dane? The Simpsons has gotten rid of Homer choking Bart.
Yeah.
Is anyone still watching?
My mom didn't let me watch The Simpsons.
Really?
But she let me watch South Park. Wrap your head around that.
That makes no sense
whatsoever.
That makes literally no sense whatsoever. It says the Simpsons have quietly retired a recurring scene in their hit cartoon. Although some things never seem to change in the legendary Fox series, they have gotten rid of Homer choking Bart out of frustration. He basically says that he's not going to do it anymore. Times have changed.
Took him 30 years to learn that you shouldn't strangle your child.
Now Homer's going to be like, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
Now, I want to point out something that I found very funny, because most of the liberal leftist media cheered this on, and they're like, this is good. Fantastic. You shouldn't do this.
Did they? I thought all of those comments were sarcastic.
No, I'm saying, but the media, like The Guardian says it's a good thing. But it goes back to this old quote that it says, despite the howls from the naysayers, this is probably the right thing to do. This is The Guardian co-signing this. Homer strangling Bart never sat particularly well within the bigger picture of The Simpsons. Back in 1992, when the show was in its infancy, President George H.W. Bush publicly remarked that American families needed to be a lot more like the Waltons and a lot less like The Simpsons. So you, the liberals, have become the conservative Puritans you once hated. All because of, I guess, what? Modern wokeness.
It's not that serious. Also, like, do people still watch The Simpsons? Like, the new ones that air?
It's still, I mean, they
didn't even know they aired.
They wouldn't still be making it if they weren't, if people weren't watching it.
It's weird.
Yeah. So, strangling your kids is not a good idea. You shouldn't be doing that. It's
I don't
not
think
good.
anyone saw Homer Simpson strangle Bart and thought, I'm going to go strangle my child now.
But that's the problem. They believe that those things, that is real. Just like they believe that it was bad for Hank Azaria to play Apu, right? That's somehow bad.
It's really interesting. The culture right now is truly divided in two, and one half is people that truly cannot comprehend abstraction of any form.
That's an IQ issue. It's literally
It
just
seems
an
that way.
IQ benchmark that most people don't hit, and the
they don't-
media is manipulating
They don't
them.
comprehend abstraction, and so as a result, they don't comprehend humor.
Yeah.
So they think you're being literal when you're being sarcastic.
Yeah.
When you would think that The Simpsons appeals to the lowest common denominator anyway, and Homer is that.
Yeah. Well, that's a general critique that people have of that the other side of the aisle might have of The Simpsons is like he's part of that trend where male patriarchs are buffoons and do not paint men or fathers in a good light. And like, imagine you're a guy in your 20s and you're looking for guidance on how to be a dad because your dad wasn't around very much, and you turn to Homer. It would be like
That
if
would be
you
a
were,
poor decision.
It would be like a business owner turning to Mr. Burns and looking for him as inspiration on how to run your business.
But just break that down into steps. Like a person who somehow managed to reproduce is self-aware enough that he should be a good father, but is watching The Simpsons and is deriving life lessons from it. Do you know, like?
Well, now the meme around The Simpsons now is about how The Simpsons predicts the future, right?
Yeah.
That's the meme around The Simpsons, whether it's COVID and but there's some other ones.
They predicted COVID?
Yeah, and there's a famous scene, but it mentions coronavirus.
Oh,
but
wow.
Coronaviruses are more than just COVID-19, so a lot of it's about The Simpsons predict the future. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see if we'll have to see if parental stranglings drop in this country with this change.
Yeah.
Frankly, I'm holding my breath personally. So, all right, which one of you is more angry about Mean Girls?
Honestly, I think it's Dane.
I think it's me too.
So they just released the trailer for the new Mean Girls reboot 2 decades after the original, which me and Dane agree it's a cinematic masterpiece.
Truly.
You can't do it again, especially not in this day and age. And it's not exactly a reboot. It's an adaptation of the Broadway musical. And I don't like musicals, so that's already docking points. But the entire thing is just a complete bastardization of everything that people loved about the original Mean Girls. And it's like flopped or made fat or mid.
Yep.
It's just offensive,
I think,
at this point to the
And
audience.
you know it's on purpose.
I think the mid-inning is
The mid-inning.
Yeah, is
They
the
made
most...
Regina George mid. They made Katie Heron mid. And that's especially weird considering that the catalyst for her entire character arc is her showing up to public school, not realizing that she's hot, and then weaponizing it and becoming a bad person by using her beauty. So like
Literally the plot.
that's literally the plot.
The plot of the movie.
Which
it's
is
like, you're
also-
hot and you're good at math. Why?
It's also incredibly honest about the female condition, which Hollywood is not capable of making stories about now.
No.
They also name check slut shaming in the trailer, and they said it in the modern day, so they're making TikToks.
Listen, I mean this, what I'm about to say. There's Breaking Bad, there's Puss in Boots, and there's Mean Girls. And that is the only art that has been conceived in the 21st century outside of video games. Don't touch it. Like, truly, like, when they ruin Disney movies, doing their whole Yas Queen thing, you know what? I ain't 5. I don't care, truly. I'm just here for a good time.
I mean,
But this I take
yeah.
offense to, truly. I took my friends to watch Mean Girls, and all of them were like, bro, really? And then they all watched it. Everyone's a fan. Everyone's a fan. Film snobs are fans. This is truly one of the greatest movies to come out this century. Don't touch it. Everything from beginning to end, character selection, tone, jokes. On the 38, God made the Remington rifle. I mean, like, it was... the third day. Anyway, it was great.
Yeah.
And I don't.
It's American greatness.
But that's the point, right? Like you said it beforehand. You said this is Marxist bullshit designed to destroy America.
I mean, I don't remember saying that, but sure.
Yeah, right?
I said it's like a Marxist cultural revolution.
It is.
Yeah.
There we go.
They made Janice fat and mid, and they race swapped her. They race swapped Damien because let's just throw another race swap in there. They race swapped Karen, who was played by Amanda Seyfried. They made Regina George fat, even though part of the plot is that she becomes fat by a ploy.
Oh, yeah, I want
that
to say
they
she's
played
fat. I
on
say
her.
she's plump.
Well, she became fat by the standards of 2004, which were obviously much different than the current day. But in this, it just seems like she's fat the entire movie.
I don't know about that, but
That was weird. They also made Aaron mid.
but the thing is, so Tina Fey's in this, right? And she's leading the readaptation of it.
Yeah.
She
wasn't
looks
the old.
exactly the same.
True, which
by
is
the
weird.
way.
But she wasn't the old one.
Yeah.
And surely she must know that that's a movie that will last time.
The solace you can take in this is that this will mean nothing to nobody. Nobody will care about this. This will die on.
Well, they
die
want it
a
to be
lonely
like,
death.
let's make the next Barbie, like something that is pink and shiny and appeals to women, and that's not what this is.
No, it's designed to the snark and the modernity of it's the modernity of it all. It's just
Like,
so,
I don't want to see Mean Girls set in 2024.
Yeah,
And it wasn't this long ago.
2004,
Like,
right?
why do we gotta-
less than 20
19
years ago?
years? Damn,
19
20
years.
years?
Do you think they're going to get rid of the Coach Carr subplot?
Wait, does that mean that means that when
I think so.
So that means that Lindsay Lohan was. I think Lindsay Lohan. Because me and her have the same birthday, and I think the same birth year. So she would have been under 18 when they made that movie.
Was she?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would assume that most of the other characters were played by adults.
Usually they're played by adults,
Yeah.
right? So maybe that's why it felt so real, because it was actual evil, mean teenage girls.
If you had sex, you'll get a disease.
That's
and you'll die.
And I really do believe, you guys were they, off air. They were a little bit shocked at how little I seem to care about this because,
you don't like
I don't have strong
chick
feelings
flicks.
on.
Have
the
you
movie.
seen it?
Yes, but I don't have strong feelings on it one way or the other. I do, however, agree with you that the casting decisions are absolutely on purpose. The desire to make everything ugly, just not even just ugly, but like. The idea is that they make everything just a bit uglier.
Is this a chick flick?
So
though?
you don't notice, or you're crazy for pointing it
Yes.
out.
So if they just pick a bunch of disfigured people,
Right.
That makes.
Because look, Angori Rice, who plays Katie, she is not. I'm not calling her ugly. I mean, I'm not even necessarily calling her mid. She's a pretty girl. She's an actor. Of course, she has to be better looking than average. But she's not Lindsay Lohan in 2004.
Yeah.
And Renee Rapp, who plays Regina George in the Broadway musical, that makes sense that you would bring her on to the live action movie. But she is not Rachel McAdams in 2004. And I'm not crazy for pointing that out, you know?
No, they want you to feel as if you're the bad person for pointing out that this is very clearly intentional.
So the thing about Mean Girls, and I disagree that it's a chick flick, because I think that why Mean Girls really hits like critical mass, it's because it's the perfect rendition of kind of like the high school dynamics, the cliques that formed. All the cliques that are forming happened in real life. They were in my school, they were in my friend's school.
Did you have a hot Asian clique in your high school?
Not a lot of
This is why
Asians in Puerto Rico.
This is why I was disallowed from the discussion about hot women being good at math, because I said to Dane, I dated a hot woman who was good at math.
To which I had to ask, was she Asian?
And I said yes.
And he concurred.
To the point. But here's the thing. We talked about cliques recently, and I pointed out to somebody, like, I don't remember what episode it was, but I said, like, I never experienced or noticed any such thing as like what modern people, like what they would have called bullying when I was in high school. But I was also very distracted with skating and my own thing. I didn't hang out with people that I went to high school with, right? So, but then like there was comments like that were in the bottom, like, no, these types of cliques, this type of bullying are cliques were a thing,
Dude,
but
100%.
bullying
At
wasn't
least
a
in the
thing for me.
2000s, and
Yeah.
people
But it
don't
is. It
often
is
know
a
this,
thing.
but the Mean Girls original movie was based on, I think, a parenting book that described all of these different cliques and social orders and the hierarchies in detail for parents to understand, like, what is your daughter going through in high school?
And
That is something that existed before decades of kids getting assaulted with anti-bullying propaganda.
Yeah.
And those those social hierarchies either don't exist or they have been extremely, I don't know, they're not the same as they used to be. So you can't portray them in the current day as if they are the same.
And there's so many things they touch on subtly. Like, for example, some of the mean girls don't have a good relationship with their parents.
I mean, that was,
you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, Regina George is a toxic see you next Tuesday because her father is a passive beta male. Can we address that in 2024? No. Not really.
I don't know. The fights they have are fights that you would see in real life. And so my thing with this is that, okay, so there's merit to this if they adapt it to, I guess, Zoomer or current high school kids' problems.
Wait, so is the idea here that they'll like to bully them, they'll share each other's like OnlyFans, and then
maybe? Oh my God.
Well, like, remember the scene where they cut out the boobs of like Regina George's tank top and her bra is showing and she walks out and then everyone starts cutting their shirts up.
I don't remember
to like imitate her. They like switched that so that like they sprayed a sprinkler on her and her mascara started running, so everyone started making TikToks with running mascara. That's like how they're trying to translate this for modern Gen Z audiences.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't understand I think Gen Z likes Mean Girls how it was, even if they didn't experience that firsthand.
I truly think it's a classic that you can show it 30 years from now and someone will get something from it because
it's honest.
So because something that I always talk about is like in games and movies and everything, and in social dynamics, people belong to archetypes.
Yeah. And
this movie rings true because the rendition of archetypes, it's so honest.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that generation of movies did like 10 Things I Hate About You, Not Another Teen Movie. They all did those archetypes very well because they were less scared about what they were supposed to mean on a grander scale, right? There wasn't as much pushback. And of course, 10 Things I Hate About, I'm sorry, but Not Another Teen Movie was a satire of so many of them. But one of the big tropes of those movies was like, it felt like the case du jour from Hollywood was that the parents are mostly absent or ineffectual. And the kids are kind of the product of Gen X, you know, what Phil would call, what is it, latchkey kids, right? Like the
What's
idea
that?
that basically they're just left to their own devices, right? Come home when the street lights come on. And in that time period, a big part of it was these kids are raising each other because their parents are at work all the time. And those archetypes are very, very prevalent in these movies because they weren't afraid to show you what it was actually like. The geeks were the geeks, the jocks were the jocks, the cool girls were mean, and the nerdy girls were I don't like what would you
now that we live in like the age of the tyranny of feminism, you can't honestly show women hating each other in a movie. And that was what's so appealing about
honest.
Mean Girls is the honesty of that, showing women just hating each other's guts.
It is one of the
sabotaging each other.
It is one of the quickest things that I point out when I watch a movie and television show and I see a bunch of women getting along. I'm like, give it 10 minutes. If they're still getting along perfectly and like to like an elevated extent, right? They keep like complimenting each other and, oh my gosh, you're so great. Like that's not even how normal people act in the real world. Not just women, men don't do that shit either. That's weird. Like the way they portray women now has to be some type of Instagram sloganeering of how they imagine women treat each other online. It's why I say that the least honest place you'll ever be is like a female influencer's comment section where a bunch of women say like, oh my gosh, you're so great.
Whereas in Mean Girls, it's Regina George saying to Katie, you're like really pretty. And Katie says, thank you. And she's like, so you agree? You think you're really pretty? Like that is the 2004 equivalent.
And just notice how much, I don't know, like analysis and conversation came from this topic, it's because it is profound in its simplicity.
Yeah.
The movie. And
it's almost like they try too hard nowadays. They try too hard to manufacture reality when actual reality is way more interesting.
And that's why maybe our hesitance is a little bit, maybe it's unwarranted, maybe they nail it, but it's
they will
just...
not nail it. I can guarantee
I know.
you. They will not nail it, ladies and gentlemen.
It's because they can't, because how do you improve on a 10? It's the perfect movie. It's the perfect... It has blood. It's funny. It's sad. Like the character has her lows. She learns her lesson. She realizes who she is. She leans on it. I don't know.
It's not gonna go well, and then they're gonna wonder why nobody went to see it because it's not going.
I mean, hopefully it does. Hopefully it goes well. But
won't go well.
No.
well, yeah.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and what would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
You decide, Dane.
Cringe.
Cringe? All right, we'll do cringe here first. Mary found this one, ladies and gentlemen. It scared me just by seeing the thumbnail. So let's go ahead and watch this. Oh gosh, here we go. Volume's up.
Life hack.
The simplest way to remove excess.
Oh my god.
Yeah, just throw a tampon into your food. It's not like that has any toxic chemicals that you'll be ingesting. Amazing.
I was so much happier like 30 seconds ago before I saw this. Why is that a thing?
It's a cooking life hack.
Why is that a thing? Somebody should dump the fat down the garbage.
I bet the music behind this TikTok is "I'm Unstoppable."
Well, yeah, there is no music
what
here,
is
but
it?
yeah, no, there isn't any. There's no sound.
Okay.
But you're absolutely right, Dane. No, that version of it would be like it does a regular one where she tries to get rid of the excess fat normally, but then it cuts to her adding the tampon, and then the song kicks in.
I was looking for that song in the trailer of this. I'm like, if they put that song in that song has never been used for good. Ever.
No, evil.
If there's even a fraction of a second in the Mean Girls trailer, like we go to the White House.
What is have you ever seen that video of like the lady who's like my child contracted RSV and is like dancing in the NICU unit of the hospital?
I did not see that.
And it spawned this like wave of response videos where it's like my wife drowned in a river, and it's just him dancing while his wife is like floating in the river. It was
flossing,
disturbing. Yeah, it was disturbing. All right, we got some cute of the day as well. Let's check out a couple here. First things first, from Alex Making Beds, says, "Here's our old dog and my closest childhood friend." It translates to jazz the music, not the game. Is that Jatsi? Jatsi? He passed away years ago, but I stumbled onto this old picture and wanted to share it with you.
R.I.P.
It's a very cute pooch. Let's do one more. This one here, this is from Pigtaku, says, "Aurora and Ronan just had their shots done today, and Rory decided his brother makes a good chair."
Look at those angels.
They got their boosters like good dogs.
Look at that. It's just like, I'm going to sit on you. It's very cute. All right, guys. If you have pictures of your pets that you would like to submit.
The other day I saw a guy on one of those scooters that you like pay to use in the city, had his dog in a baby Bjorn on his back.
Dude.
And that dog was like having the time of his life.
In DC, you'll see chicks with strollers with dogs.
Seriously? You've seen this?
Several. And they talk about how they're going to take them to school.
Everything but the actual kids.
Your dog shouldn't be allowed everywhere.
In strollers, that the dog is like literally like fidgeting, like, "I want to get out of here." And she's talking about
the dog
going to
I saw was
school and the
having fun.
doctor. It's bizarre.
All right, let's go ahead and get started then. We got a bunch of stuff we're going to get into today.
Get started.
Well, yeah. Well, we're what are we
About an hour in.
About an hour in. We're 50 minutes in. We're going to go ahead and get started, guys. What are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about the Snow White controversy because basically now it's coming out that apparently Disney didn't get rid of the dwarves, or at least that's what they're claiming. We're also going to talk about Noah Schnapp of Stranger Things fame, who's in very deep trouble for liking an Islamophobic post on Instagram. We're going to talk about Kim Petras, who was apparently encouraging people to have sex at her
Not just sex, gay sex at shows.
At shows, yeah. So we're going to talk about that. Also, we've got some fantastic dumb celebrity quotes once again because people loved that segment last week. Or as we called it, dumb celebrity quotes that work better than antidepressants. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. Mary, why don't you tell us what the hell is going on with Snow White now with all this new information?
Well, Disney announced that they were delaying Snow White by a year at the same time that they released a first look photo of the movie where suddenly the seven dwarfs were back. They were not magical creatures from Portland, and we were confused because we thought that Disney had erased the dwarfs from the movie because Peter Dinklage threw a fit about it and said that it was backwards.
No, she's still involved.
Oh no, Rachel Zegler did not get fired.
Wesley, why would I ever believe in anything?
It was fake news, but it had everyone's hopes up just for a second there.
I believed it. I was like,
nope, not true. She is still in the role. I think that may be why they released the photo. They just wanted to remind everyone that the movie is still going to come out, except it's going to be in 2025. A lot of anticipation.
I mean, she still looks like Lena the Plug with all the guys behind
It's really
her
bad. The framing of it is not great.
She looks like Lena the Plug, Adam 22's wife, the porn star.
Yeah. But now Disney has decided to gaslight us, the audience, and tell us that we never planned on getting rid of the dwarfs. You're crazy for thinking that.
You're crazy.
So Nadia Stacy, who is in charge of cosmetics and hair for Disney's Snow White, has posted on her Instagram story that this is misinformation, saying Daily Mail got it wrong again. That's not the original cast. Nothing has changed. So apparently they planned on keeping the dwarfs the whole time. This tweet says, according to Nadia Stacy, the seven dwarfs are in the film from the get-go, and those seven bandits that we saw in the set photos belong to Andrew Burnap's character Jonathan, who is their leader.
So it's two different
groups. And we were confused by this because we remember last year that Disney released a statement in response to Peter Dinklage calling the dwarfs backwards. Here was his actual quote in case you forgot. He said, "You're still telling the story of Snow White and the seven dwarfs. Take a step back and look at what you're doing here. It makes no sense to me. You're progressive in one way, but then you're still making that effing backwards story about seven dwarfs living in a cave together? What the F are you doing, man? Have I done nothing to advance the cause from my soapbox? I guess I'm not loud enough." I just want to clarify, the dwarfs never lived in a cave. They worked in a cave, and they lived in a nice, cute little house.
Which would cost $1 million today.
If he watched that movie, he would know that. Anyway,
it's actually in the future.
I think he needed a taller soapbox, and then he would have been heard. But Disney's statement said, to avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated film, we're taking a different approach with the seven characters. The seven characters, and have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community. We look forward to sharing more as the film heads into production after a lengthy development period.
They're gonna be like consultants.
It is fair. No, that's an actual thing.
They're like, we have dwarf consultants now.
They would absolutely do.
I'm sure they do. But that statement doesn't necessarily say we're getting rid of the dwarfs. They still have the excuse that they can fall back on, like, oh no, we're just not reinforcing stereotypes. The stereotype that dwarfs live in caves or something.
Which nobody actually believes is a stereotype.
That old thing.
Yeah.
So that would have everyone thinking, yeah, they're getting rid of the dwarfs. But according to their hair and makeup person, that's not true. They were in it from the get-go. But they're just gaslighting and lying to us. And trying to make us feel like we're crazy for ever pointing out the change.
Well, that's one of the things too, right? Like what they'll rely on is like us who does this every day for work had to go back and double check to make sure that we remembered it correctly. Somebody who just takes this information in passing is just going to be like, oh, maybe I misheard that. And then just go with whatever they say as the current thing.
I still think it's incredibly hypocritical that Peter Dinklage called it backwards in the first place, given that everyone remembers that scene of him in Elf where he attacks Will Ferrell and the entire punchline of the joke is his size.
Yeah.
He was perfectly happy to perform a scene that made a joke out of his size before, but now that he has Game of Thrones clout, he's going to tell Disney what to do.
Yes.
Yep. And they listened. at least for a while. And then the backlash started getting louder and louder.
I mean,
and they
wonder
relented.
how much of that is true, or if it's just like they were leaning into the outrage marketing from the beginning, right? Like, doesn't bother me. It gives us stuff to talk about at work every day. Whatever is true ends up being true. I don't really care. I'm ambivalent to all of it now. Like, I don't have it in me to be outraged. I have it in me to be like happy that I have something to discuss at work, because I find the inner workings of how these production companies, these marketing teams decide to promote their movies on various scales, right? So it's like, I understand where the anger comes from. I get plenty of annoyance with the stuff that Rachel Zegler was saying, because I found her take to be unbelievably ungracious.
My thing with her is she just seems like the typical actress nowadays, but for some reason she rubbed people off the wrong way more.
Yeah.
Why? Like, why in particular her?
I don't know. I think her comments were like standout bad.
Yeah, more so. Like,
she changed her tune after the publicist stepped in and told her, like, you need to stop trashing this film.
And I do think there will be an attempt later to revise history.
She trashed the film or the
she
original? She
trashed the original story,
yeah.
and she made it about racial, about her race right off the bat as soon as she made her announcement about the film. I was okay. So before the show today, Mary was me and Mary were talking about this, and I said no, she's done nothing to ingratiate herself, and all the stuff that she says now will just feel like it's something that's coming from a publicist who's trying to help fix your public image. But as we know, first impressions matter. They really, really do. And when she made her initial post right after casting, her comment was, "Yes, I am Snow White. No, I am not bleaching my skin for the role." Why would that be the first thing you say after getting hired in one of the most influential roles at a multi-gazillion dollar company? That doesn't make any sense. All you have to say is, "Yes, I am Snow White. I am very excited to bring this famous character to the screen with a unique portrayal." That's all you have to say. Dude, you don't need to bring in the skin color for it. But the problem is, Disney did this to her. Disney did this to her by making her, by putting her in this role. I mean, I guess technically she did it to herself by trying out for the role.
I'm taking this for a completely different angle. My thing is that in modernity, she probably acted that way, and she's like, this is literally how every single chick in Hollywood is right now. I just am doing it pretty much again. So
why am I getting hate when everyone else is doing the same?
And that was my
and it's not like Wonder Woman was any better in the promotion for this movie. Gal Gadot was just as bad.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like it's been this way. So that's why I'm thinking that the pendulum is swinging, where I think that they took her as like, listen, let's just start slowly seeping in that this isn't cool, because like profits are down. You know what I mean?
Well, the reason Gal Gadot got less hate than Rachel Zegler is just that she has more fans, she has more clout, she has more goodwill from her past work. Rachel Zegler is relatively unknown before this, except for West Side Story, and seems to have just been plucked out of obscurity from high school. Yeah. So that's probably why. It's the first impression Rachel Zegler had on the world stage is being annoying.
Okay, but for me, so she was annoying, but also you guys suffered through, for the chat, the Lord of the Rings adaptation from Amazon, and those actors were abhorrent. And the way they talked about the lore and everything, but by the way, I'm not the hugest fan of, but I respect people that enjoy it. And they were like, yeah, we're basically gonna add some character and whatever to this so-so show. It's like, dude, some people would kill to be on the show, and you're just like bad-mouthing the creator, who is a legend. Yeah. So I don't know why
that got plenty of hate too. But that was an ensemble cast, so it got it collected.
That got hate from people, so did this, but it didn't get hate from like the studio. Like the PR people were like, keep going, Daddy-O. You know what I mean?
Well, there's a strike right now. We don't know what she'd be saying if there wasn't a strike going on right now.
There's still a strike?
Do you want to play the clip? Should we play the clip of
Yeah,
her?
So there was this Instagram reel that got a lot of attention where Rachel Zegler says it makes her cry when she sees kids dressing up as Snow White.
Here.
Little kids dressed up as Snow White makes me sob my eyes out. I can't, like, I go to the parks and I'm like, And
She just cries.
I do, and my best friend
would
is
too.
like, "Are you good?" And I'm like, "No, no." I went with my publicist Ashton. We were in Paris, and
Wait
I
till
was.
it comes out.
I know.
Ooh,
And when it's
can't
like
wait.
my version of the dress, it's like my. Oh no, I can't. But I
Oh,
was
is it
like,
much different?
I mean, seeing little kids.
And that was all that she said in the clip, which is relatively harmless, inoffensive.
Yeah.
And all of the comments were negative.
Yeah.
They said, they're dressing like Snow White, not you. She's so hateable. She acts so self-absorbed trying to be cool, it gives me secondhand embarrassment. Everyone hates you. I effing hate this woman.
The problem
Literally
is-
all of the comments were just virulent hatred, which I understand given that everything she said before that was terrible.
Yeah.
But now she's having all of the media outlets and journalists defend her because the hate has gotten that.
There is no
Strong.
chance. There is no second chance at a good first impression, and she
Yeah.
made one of the worst first impressions that Hollywood has ever seen. And I'm underselling it here right now. We're not gonna play back through all of these clips. What I would be impressed with here, now I don't know if that's what's gonna happen here. It would be cool to see like a redemption arc. It would be cool to see this movie do well. And I don't think this could happen overnight. It would take years for people to actually buy that she's grown as a person. Because if there's a bunch of drastic change right away, it reeks of being something.
control.
It reeks of being from the studio, from a publicist. It doesn't feel real, right? But if she makes changes over time and she seems more humble as the years go on, even if it's false, people are going to be more willing to buy into it because people tend to mellow with age or change with age. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't buy that that's going to happen, but I'm always open to the idea of redemption, but she shouldn't expect it to happen anytime soon.
There's still a year and a half out
Yeah.
until this movie comes out. But in this clip, she's just saying, you know, it makes me emotional when kids dress up as Snow White. And Halle Bailey said pretty much the same thing when all of the parents were recording their kids reacting to the Black Little Mermaid and crying about it because like representation matters. But Halle Bailey said all the same stuff and got none of the same hate.
She got hate. She did. It just.
I think Disney was getting the hate for
Yeah.
the race swapped Little Mermaid, not Halle Bailey.
Well, that's because people would be afraid to criticize her.
Well, why would no one be afraid to?
Because they're going to get called racist, and it's
Rachel Zegler is not white.
it wouldn't be considered the same.
So I think that she can. I think the only way in period to get redemption in the eye of the public is kind of to humble yourself before them and show some form of humility and honesty and be like, hey, you know, honestly, like thinking back on it, it was snobbish and abhorrent, and I'm sorry, guys. I was just trying to be cool and be this actress or whatever, something like that.
But
you
then
know?
the comments would
runs
be
too
like,
deep.
"You can't apologize. It's too late."
And,
Like,
some people,
and
yeah.
there is an argument to be made that when you're that well known now, there's almost no point because you're always going to get the people, especially if she reads the comments. I don't know if she does. Again, I don't know what she's like in her private life. I imagine it's at least somewhat similar to what she's like, what she portrays in these interviews. But it's like when people come at you, like even on a small with a small platform like ours, right? Like if somebody says something negative to you, or if you get like a bunch of negative comments, are you really going to answer all of them openly, honestly, and earnestly when you know that 1,000 people have left those comments to you? No, that's not the natural human reaction when people don't like you. The natural human reaction when people don't like you is to say F you and double
It's
down.
defensiveness.
It is. It's defensiveness.
And this,
And I can't fault. I think she's wrong. I think that when you're the caregiver or the caretaker of a gazillion-dollar franchise like Snow White is, I think it's her job to try and do that. But I don't think that how she's behaving is necessarily like out of the ordinary.
I mean, I feel like there's negative comments and then there's negative comments. For example, if the comments is like, you're tacky and I hate you, there's not a lot you can do. But for example,
Yeah.
I remember some guy once in chat being like, this dude says like literally every word. And I was like, he's freaking right. I should fix that. You know, so there's like constructive and it can't be said in a snarky way, but if there's some truth to it, and there's just.
But it depends on how much you get, right?
The evil of man, you know.
Like the more general and just rude they are, the easier it is to ignore those comments.
I agree.
Like that tends to be the easiest stuff to ignore. It's when they poke at the stuff that you actually feel self-conscious about that it starts to get to you.
This one tweet from journalist Zoe Rose Bryant said, in a few years, there will be dozens of think pieces about how Rachel Zegler was treated at the start of her career, saying how shameful it was, and it'll be the same cycle we went through with Jennifer Lawrence and Anne Hathaway. More young women continue to suffer because we learn nothing.
I'm going to read that initial quote again from when she got hired as Snow White. Yes, I am Snow White. No, I am not bleaching my skin for the role. In a since deleted tweet. This is not an overreaction.
I didn't think anything like that came out of Jennifer Lawrence's mouth.
This girl could have taught a master class in how to not respond to a major hiring.
And it's funny because those think pieces defending the honor of Rachel Zegler against the online racist trolls already exist. The media is already running cover for her at every opportunity. Like this piece from The Guardian that says her comments about Snow White are fairly innocuous, you might think.
They are not innocuous.
About an 86-year-old movie that probably needs an update for modern times.
Again,
and they'll
make
just
a different
throw
movie
that
then.
out there. They'll throw out that sentiment that this movie needs a modern update without explaining why. Because the reason is too ugly. It's too inconvenient. They hate the story. They hate the original story. But they can't explain why and be honest about it.
Yeah.
But they'll just throw that out there. It needs an update because it's old.
It's also just it's such a disingenuous framing of the snark behind her words to call it innocuous. It was not innocuous. It was unbelievably inflammatory the way she spoke about this story in these interviews. Now, it is kind of crazy to think that just when you actually look at it with the 30,000-foot view, she didn't say a whole lot of things. She just managed to say everything wrong in a very short period of time that's been recycled over and over again. And it should actually give all celebrities pause that the idea that every time you speak, you could potentially say something catastrophic to your career. Anytime. It does not matter. You have to be on your game 100% of the time.
In Rachel Zegler's position, you just inherited the clout of the century and everyone is around you is telling you that you're the shit.
Yeah.
And you just think that you can get away with anything. So
Yeah.
her comments show that level of hubris.
And also,
She's a kid.
No, she's not. She's like 22.
Let me say, she's in her early 20s. She's got a long, maybe this is the problem, is that we're putting young people, we're giving young people the platform with multi-million dollar franchises without double checking first that they're going to behave like somebody much older than they are.
We're giving those actresses all of the power with none of the responsibility.
Yes.
Is the problem.
Yes. Like you hire a 40-year-old in that role. Maybe you don't have to double check, not that role, but you put a 40-year-old in charge of a multi-million dollar franchise. Maybe you don't have to worry that they're necessarily going to say something stupid beforehand. But you put a 21-year-old activist type in that role. It's just as much Disney's fault that all of this stuff is happening because they didn't think about it ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not age though. Like Mark Ruffalo acts like this. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, but I mean that's about politics, not necessarily about the roles he's doing.
That's that's a political
actually,
statement.
The Hulk is a misogynist.
Actually, honestly, I think
that.
He has said stuff like that.
Did he?
I think he has said
Oh
stuff
my
like that. I have to
goodness.
double check. But yeah, that's a fair point. Mark Ruffalo is awful too. So that's fair. All right, let's go ahead and let's go to super chats. We got a
Okay.
couple there. We're almost to a crisis party, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh God.
Shane H.
Yes,
Wilder.
guys, I need you to do it because Dane is here, and there's nothing that brings me more joy than scaring the crap out of Dane.
Can you like update it and it could be like festive and a
Update
party?
it for modern times. he says.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Sorry for this morning, Brett, but I'm a man of the people, and it was what the crisis actors wanted."
Yeah. Okay. So
What happened this morning?
Is he talking about the? So I was mentioning to someone earlier. It's like some days.
Why do you look like you're in physical pain right
You
now?
look right.
Some days.
What
look,
happened?
On the average day, the memes, they make me laugh. Some days, you wake up, you haven't drank enough water, you've got a bit of a headache, And I don't remember which one it was, but there was a meme that I saw recently that I had to roll my eyes at. And then I went back and looked at it later when I was in a better... I have to find it. I'd have to go and double check it. But some days it's just, I almost pulled a Rachel Zegler and started yelling at him about how this meme needs to be updated for modern audiences. That's what I would have done.
Shane H. Wilder said, Dane, great to see you survived your first Zin. Just remember, if you ain't zinning, you ain't winning.
Dude, Zin sucks. And I hope, unless you sponsor this podcast.
Why is that?
Charles gave me a Zin.
Okay.
Because I didn't sleep well the night before. I was just so worried about something.
Here's a... go ahead.
He gave me a Zin, and I had a heart attack, and it exploded in my mouth, and I got the hiccups. It was the weirdest situation.
Okay.
So you don't consume nicotine ever?
I mean,
that was new for you?
Unless I smoke cigarettes with butt. But beyond that, not really.
That's weird because it's only 6 milligrams of nicotine, and no offense, but you're much larger than me, and 6 doesn't do much to me anymore.
No offense taken. I am much larger than you.
I'm gonna show Shane H. Wilder's excellent work here so everyone can see this. Shane is a meme lord. Here we go. Shane, thank you for sending this one in earlier. It says, black olive or green olive? The choice is yours. Check pop culture cut of The Matrix with Brett Dasovic and Olivia Clare's Cat Mocha.
You take the green olive. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the black olive. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
It wasn't just that one though. He had one from the other day where it was and Shane is great.
We're just putting his whole timeline on blast right now.
Shane had one the other day that was it was basically, it's been this many days since Brett mentioned these television shows, and I just had a headache at the time. I'm like, am I that unoriginal? Apparently I'm that unoriginal. And much like we were talking about earlier, sometimes it can get to you, even if it's just your own inadequacies just shining back at you. So thank you, Shane, for that.
DCNC said, yo, Mares, gotta put Spaceballs in your Star Wars set list. I watched Spaceballs before I ever watched Star Wars, and I didn't know what it was making fun of, but I thought it was funny anyway.
I haven't seen all of Star Wars, thank God.
Let's do one more.
High Voltage 75 said, interesting choice to make it live action. You have to get the casting almost perfect for these kind of movies, referring to Legend of Zelda.
How do you, though?
Yep. Very, very difficult.
Are they going to race swap Link?
Maybe.
Likely at this
point.
Jaden Smith will play him.
What's the guy that played Creed?
Jonathan Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. Unless you mean Creed the band.
No.
That'd be great.
Let's go ahead and let's move on.
Okay. Noah Schnapp, who you might know playing Will Byers in Stranger Things, is getting a lot of backlash online right now because he liked an Islamophobic skit that basically... What? I don't know how to explain this without showing it to you, and I hope that we don't get penalized on YouTube for that.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we just show part of it.
There's no way for us to explain it, though. It's basically parodying Hamas and showing the cognitive dissonance of Western liberals who post about free Palestine and queers for Palestine, not realizing that Hamas obviously doesn't have anything in common with their worldview. The post was not funny, to be honest.
No, it wasn't. That's its biggest crime. The biggest crime is that it's just not funny.
It was poorly done.
Yes.
Do you want to not show it?
I don't want to show it. I don't. Basically, it's a bunch of college kids doing a report. Well, we could play the first 30 seconds of it.
Yeah, we don't need to show the whole
Here
thing, but.
We are live on YouTube with Colombia Anti-Semitic News, where everyone is welcome. LGBTQH. Hamas.
Yeah, I totally sim Hamas. Yeah. It's so trendy
totally
right now.
Hamas.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Do you know why it's true? Because it rhymes.
It's just not funny, ladies
It's
and
not
gentlemen.
funny.
It's not.
But anyway, Noah Schnapp liked this post, and he's been getting heat ever since he made a post in support of Israel.
I want to, and I want to point out that this is mainstream. So the actress in this is an actress named Noah Tishby, who's she was in a show called Leverage that I really liked. She had a couple of guest episodes in that show.
I thought she was just reposting it. She's not in it, right?
I think she's the. I thought she was the one in the skit. Maybe I'm
don't
wrong
think
about that.
so.
Okay, so if she just reposted it, but this is mainstream in the industry, right? She's a very big activist,
The caption-
Israeli activist, and fights against anti-Semitism on a regular basis. And when you look her up on YouTube, almost everything that comes up is her doing some type of political activism related to Israel, either going on news sites talking about them. So it's very mainstream for them to talk about this. So do you want to read what the caption said?
It says, a huge part of our Jewish culture is using humor to deal with trauma. It helps with the pain. Please enjoy these pro-Hamas college students on their journey to normalize a massacre. Sigh. So this is from Israeli satire TV show, What a Wonderful Country. Not well executed, but we get the point.
Yeah.
It's fine. So he liked that post, and let's just read some of the reactions on Twitter.
He just liked the post.
He wasn't involved in making it, nothing. So one said,
Brutal.
You're under a microscope, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't like I can't wait for him to be jobless after the last season of Stranger Things. Make him jobless now. The show has run its course and we should be boycotting Netflix anyways. So I don't see why you all can't just let the show die out. Let every producer and writer know you won't be tuning in if he's a part of the final season. IDGAF, how important his role is. We have to let everyone know racism, Islamophobia, and homophobia won't be tolerated no matter who you are.
Again, these are terminally online people. The average Stranger Things watcher's like, huh?
Yeah.
Like I still
Not to mention he is the star of the show.
Yes.
Like the whole show is based on him.
Who liked something on the internet.
Who liked an
that's
Instagram
like
post.
everything that you look at, everything that you repost. It's not just on Twitter. Like there's like weren't we just talking about the other day? Like when somebody unfollows someone,
That shocks me.
it becomes news.
Mm-hmm.
So, little insider baseball. I come up here to eat vitamins
He literally does. He comes up to our studio to steal our vitamins
and to insult Brett and then promptly leave. And Brett was talking to Mary. He was like, "Oh, someone unfollowed Ana de Armas," and I was like, "A, who cares? And B, who would know?"
Well, there
How do
are
you know?
actually like third-party apps that track things like that, but usually it's because these Stan accounts are so crazy that they are checking every day who does who follow.
It happened like when like with Johnny Depp, or I'm sorry, with Jason Momoa and
Unfollowing
Amber Heard,
yeah.
and stuff like that. Because like when you sign on to do a movie, a lot of times what happens is the actors will follow the other main stars. I always wonder where that stops. It's like a
You
five.
can't follow everyone.
It's like a 5 or 6 person cast, and it's like one of those. Who was the girl who wouldn't put who had to put 3 black squares because they didn't want to mess up their Instagram timeline? But it's like somebody's like, look, I keep my Instagram number at like an even number, and I can't follow 5 people if I only need 4 to add that. So it's like do you just only follow 4 of the main cast and not the 5th? Where does it end?
Yeah.
By the way, I do that. I think I limit myself to like 500 people I'm following, and when I want to go over, I'm like, it's time to purge.
Trying to get rid of somebody.
Yeah.
So, this is because you mentioned this because Ana de Armas unfollowed Gal Gadot on Instagram after it was reported that she is organizing a screening of Israeli propaganda
Hot chick beef?
in LA
chick
and New
beef.
York.
Let's go! Hot
go,
chick
dude.
beef!
Hot chick beef.
This caused attempted actress to trend on Twitter yesterday. That says Academy Award nominee and movie star Ana de Armas has unfollowed former IDF soldier and attempted actress Gal Gadot on Instagram. And yes, they are checking, to answer your question. They're checking every day.
So here's the new meta. Hot women actresses, listen up. Just mute them, because no one will know.
But they want people to know. Ana de Armas, in a way, is
statement.
virtue signaling and making a statement publicly by unfollowing someone.
Unfollow.
It's a sign of just how unserious, like people in the West are like, they don't realize how good they got it when that's how you make your stand.
Dude, my younger sister once told me the social political consequences of her liking a post. And she went like 30 minutes in depth, and I was like,
no, it's a
wow.
thing.
No, it is a
like
thing.
it was a thing.
This is serious business.
Like when you come to work here, right? Like if you post something online about something that Tim was making or something like that, you're even if all it is, even if you hated Tim and you liked what he said in that one post, just by posting that person, you're making a political statement, because people have the brains of children and they can't separate the fact that maybe you like something somebody said, but not everything they said.
Dude, every time I comment on something gay, by the way, I try to be positive unless I'm being shit posting or whatever. And every time I post something in gaming, someone's like, "Do you work for Tapecast?" I was like, "Oh, guess I can't like this game."
Fear Me, it's Bree says the IDF uses thirst traps to recruit. So
Gal Gadot being one of them.
I'm here to support it's my other favorite meme, where it's like it's hot military women, and then it cuts to the guy going, "It's propaganda. It's propaganda. Stop it.
Wake up.
Don't re-enlist. It's propaganda."
Another tweet said, F Noah Schnapp, F Amy Schumer, F Gal Gadot, F Jamie Lee Curtis, F Josh Gad, F David Schwimmer, F Tara Strong, F Zoe Saldana, F Taika Waititi, F every celebrity with a huge platform that supports Israel and genocide.
It's just there's so much like, that's a lot of hate to spew. Like, that's a lot of hatred in one post. That's a lot of people to hate in one post.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't bring myself to
streaming Stranger Things or not streaming Stranger Things is not going to save anyone's life.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned recruit. Meanwhile, Israel has mandatory service for all. Well, who was the person? There was a Swiftie who went to jail.
The account user Taylor Swift updates that got put in prison for not joining the IDF.
The world is becoming more and more ridiculous every day, and it really is.
And it's meant to make you feel crazy.
It's our brain fracturing at the fact that we're taking in information from every corner of the globe when we're barely able to process what the hell's going on right in front of us.
I was working downstairs and I saw this thing on Twitter. What's this guy that incomprehensibly dates all the hottest women in the world? Pete.
Davidson.
Pete Davidson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so like supposedly like we saw Pete Davidson with Sophie Turner. I was like, how?
Really?
And then
She's dating him now?
yeah, and everyone downstairs were like, it's a psyop.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
It's
Yikes.
he's got a lot going for him.
He's community property.
basically.
He's for the
Seriously,
streets.
I mean,
It's just I see so much of this, and when some actress tells me that her activism is unfollowing someone on the internet, maybe that's what the problem is. Here's how you make Mean Girls in the 21st century. You make Mean Girls, but it's celebrities who are unfollowing each other because one side supports Israel and the other side supports Palestine.
they should cast Ana de Armas.
And they could cast both of these even this photo, even this picture, it's made for modern day. This is the world now, where it's first of all, it's from an account called Ana de Armas Updates, and this is what you're looking at. It's just it's such an unserious time to be alive. As such awful things and atrocities happen halfway across the world, we're over here but hot actress A is fighting with hot actress B over conflict C going on in country A and B. And nothing matters because it's not actually happening to us.
I know, hot chick beef is pretty cool. I like it. I enjoy it.
Could they beef over something less
serious?
Pete Davidson.
Yeah, fight over Pete Davidson or something. I don't know.
It does make me
laugh.
Also,
Also, activism for corporations is revoking someone's brand sponsorship or ambassadorship.
Who was that guy in another life? His karma is just...
Dior has replaced Bella Hadid with an Israeli model in their latest campaign. This comes after Bella Hadid came out in support of Palestine. Bella has been a long-standing supporter of Palestine due to her Palestinian heritage and her family suffering directly from occupation. Shameful move by Dior.
I can't, if you're a celebrity today,
which I am,
you feel I'm sure they feel trapped, right? they have to know that everything they say could possibly can and will be used against you in the court of public opinion.
I don't. Even if in the moment you're gonna get comments like "your silence is deafening," no one is gonna remember that you were silent on a certain issue.
That's what I'm saying. Always stay silent. It's like
why? What? Where's the anxiety coming from?
And
just continue being rich, privileged, and famous.
It could happen to anything, though. I remember like some wrestler liked like a Tom McDonald video like on Instagram and got just destroyed for and they're like,
as he should.
They had no idea who this dude was. They're like,
and there was some like NASCAR driver that got suspended because he liked a George Floyd meme.
Yeah.
Like, who literally cares?
But here's the thing. Like that's the answer that we give, right? And I always have to reel it back because we always say like, I said this last week about some topic. I said, who cares about something? And it is fair to point out that clearly people
we just
care.
got a huge super chat from Black Rain Love, $100. Thank you for the party.
Says, home recovering from surgery, catching y'all live. Maybe it's the pain meds, but can I please get a shout out for my podcast, Gold Digger Comic Universe's reviews? It's female Indiana Jones meets Final Fantasy 300 issue that I'm introducing to my friend for the first time.
Okay.
Let's go.
You got it.
There you go.
You did it.
There you go. You did it for yourself, my friend. Yeah, that's and my friend.
Long title.
Let me say it.
Yup.
It's called Gold Digger Comic Universe Review. It says it's female Indiana Jones meets Final Fantasy 300 issue. That's a good elevator pitch. There.
Can't even. I don't comprehend it, but it sounds exciting.
I also want to say that like it probably is the pain meds, my dude.
I think it sounds like it.
I've been there.
I hope you get better.
Get better. Whatever you do, no matter how good those pain meds are, just remember they become very bad eventually for you.
Live, laugh, love.
Just remember, we don't do refunds.
Enjoy it while you enjoy it. You're gonna come back later like, look, I was a little messed up.
Too bad.
Can I get a refund, please? So you ever seen that meme of like the dog chasing the horse, and it says like, I was a little drunk that day.
No.
It's this great. It's like a dog. It's like a dog chasing some like huge animal.
This is the kind of memes that Brett sends me. It's dogs chasing horses.
That.
I said Brett.
I would never.
Oh my god. The caviar memes.
No.
He sends one banger and he's like, oh my god.
I am meme specific to groups. I do not blanket send memes to everyone. There are.
Why do I get the shit memes?
Thank you.
Thank you. Ha 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 ha. No, what I'm saying, first of all, every meme that I send to a specific person is tailor-made for that person. It's not necessarily just you send it to everyone.
You put time and care and effort in.
My wife sends me chickens holding hands.
That's adorable.
It's adorable.
That's adorable.
Brett sends me. They're like incomprehensible, honestly.
Maybe you should be smarter, and then it wouldn't be so incomprehensible.
Maybe
your brain just doesn't connect.
Perhaps.
Did you think about that?
No, I did it because I'm dumb, so I couldn't think about
That's exactly what I was saying.
Yep.
All right, let's wait. Was there any more thoughts, or did we just haphazardly end that topic?
We're done.
We're done with that topic,
Anyway.
ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to crisis part. Let's go to super chats.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir Renko Productions said Taylor Swift is the Antichrist.
Well,
We've gotten that comment before.
It's possible.
I don't think so.
You would catch hands if you say that in this office.
Saying she's the Antichrist?
Yeah, there's a lot of Swifties up in here.
She crosses boundaries, right? She's what was it? Vanessa Santos that was saying like, look, even the conservatives love Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I mean, she has dog shit music for women, and she's hot for men. So there we go.
Dreamcast Knight said even money Taylor Swift's biological clock is ticking, so loud Captain Hook is crying in the corner.
Oh my god.
Rumor has it Travis said something about wanting a breeder before he and Taylor got together.
A breeder.
Sus.
That is unbelievably sus.
Wow.
Is that a rumor or fact? I didn't hear that.
I'll take it as fact.
I would like to give the chat some credit, like, because we have covered Taylor Swift a couple of times and they haven't. I think that they're over the barrage of topics that were coming when the Eras tour was hitting that peak point and the movie was coming out, and we were covering it more regularly. And they're like, we're so sick of it, and now it's just, it comes up. She's part of the culture. What can you do?
Not that Jon Stewart said Team America. The actors in it were not all that, or were all not smart. Quote from the movie, thanks Film Actors Guild. Not that Jon Stewart said had to edit my previous super chat 3 times to post. I guess I got the unedited version.
By the way, they got screwed out of the second Crisis Party.
Did they?
It's scheduled to. It didn't go off, so
what?
Because that was the first one that went through right there, the one that just went.
I mean, maybe it'll come.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Uh-oh. Nebik said, all I ask is Link uses the phrase, well, excuse me, princess, in the live action like he did in the 80s cartoon.
Yeah.
Well, excuse me, princess. He'd said that pretty much every line.
Jake Ramirez said, just got my ticket for one of Creed's concerts next year. Always been a fan of their music, even though I was only 2 when they released their second album. Also, hi, Mary.
It's really funny, like now because we covered Creed like this the other week, like people think like I'm a big Creed fan, but like I maybe...
You're a fan of what they represent.
They have one song that's a banger that I can't remember. It's not Eyes Wide Open. It's good, but it's not the one I'm thinking.
Shane H. Wilder said, trying to make a good reboot of Mean Girls is like trying to make Fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
Nice.
There's a lot of things that they'll never be able to do again. There's a lot of great... Like, it would be like trying to make Tropic Thunder again.
Dude, it's seriously adding pineapple to pizza. It's just like, keep the fruit off. Oh, God.
Thank you. Okay, so that's the actual second.
That's the second one.
Party.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ian, for doing such an impassioned Roberto Jr. impression.
Ninja from Pop Culture Planet said,
God.
say crack again.
Crack?
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 Okay.
All right, let's
Crack
hold
again?
off on the rest and we'll come back.
All right.
Mary, why don't you tell us what the hell's going on with Kim Petras?
Kim Petras recently endorsed her fans having gay sex at her live shows. I don't know how else to say that. And it gives a whole new meaning to the phrase, be gay, do crimes. This is public indecency, folks.
That's funny, though. That's a hot meme.
So here her interviewer said, I feel like to be at a Kim Petras concert is to want to be touched by a different person all over the entire time.
What?
Weird, but okay. Petras said, yes, me too, which is something I'm proud of. There's definitely gay sex happening, which is lit.
Now,
In the crowd, and that's the goal. That's effing fabulous, said the interviewer.
What is this, a Brett Dazovic comment section?
What's
Wow.
interesting about this is there was a tweet that said borderline misinformation at this point, taking a joke out of context and using it as a headline. These pathetic media outlets genuinely need to be stopped. Take it from someone who went to the Feed the Beast tour. Has seen Kim multiple times over the years. This does not happen. LOL. But the problem is, it was literally from a news outlet called Gay Times.
Yeah,
so
Gay
it would be
Times said
pro Kim, right? It's not like they were out to get her.
Kim Petras said, the shows are inspired by Dante's Inferno and the different levels of hell. So, not much ambiguity there.
Not beating the allegations.
Pretty on the nose. And I was surprised that this comment got as much backlash as it did, given how our culture is these days. But someone said, y'all beg for respect, but barely have any respect for yourself. Y'all are nasty. I'm not even going to repeat the next part. Another said, what has happened to a little bit of class and decency?
Let's also point out this that points out the age range here. So
yeah, so these are not over 18 shows. These are over 8 shows.
Hey, wow.
8-year-olds are allowed in Kim Petras shows, accompanied by an adult, at least. But
well, it's okay then, they're saying.
I don't know if the joke really is made in good taste, given that children are there.
Yeah.
Another said, yeah, who cares about the kids or people at your shows who don't want to see that? There's a time and place for everything. Another said, how do you even get horny with a Kim Petras song playing? You need at least 2 people in the audience for that to happen.
That's very mean.
Yes,
That's
girl.
very-
Encourage your fans to be sex offenders. Another one said, I don't know about y'all, but if I'm at a concert and someone is banging someone next to me, I'm calling the police. WTF.
Seems reasonable.
Another said, who would have thought that Dr. Luke's #1 supporter would love public indecency? And that's because she still works with Dr. Luke, who has been accused of abuse by Kesha.
Why would you bring kids to a Kim Petras concert?
I can't imagine why. I'm sure she has a lot of teenage fans, though.
So
how would you fill the seats without letting in minors if half your fan base is minors?
It's giving Christina Aguilera wearing a dildo at a concert,
or Sam Smith dressing up like a fat devil.
That's just ugly. That's not the same type of inherent. I guess that was also never mind. Now I have to remember that costume. Like the Christina Aguilera one was particularly egregious considering there was like kids in the audience when that happened.
So a lot of people are defending this, saying it's a joke, it's going right over your heads, but most people are saying like, well, if it's not a joke, that's gross, and if it is a joke, it's still kind of gross.
Well, it is an interesting question to ask, like why that, like, because one of the other people in these comment sections, like, why do we sexualize our community so much? And that is a fair point. But also, pop music in general is heavily sexualized, more so than movies and television are. I feel like, at least big budget movies and television. Obviously, television's different. Euphoria, things like that. But music has always remained heavily sexualized.
I think I've finally formulated my thoughts on what happened with Sabrina Carpenter filming in the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
I think that you don't need to desecrate someone else's art to make valuable art
of your own. Yeah.
Like,
almost speaks to like the fact that it's
to
lower
make
brow.
to make thought-provoking art, it does not require you to desecrate other art made by people who are objectively more talented and creative than you.
Yeah.
And that was the main issue I had with it. And also, like, for all the celebrities making statements about Israel, Palestine, or any other political issue, I feel like if it mattered to you that much, if that issue were so important to you, would you not make art about it?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that is what you do for a living.
And probably like the depth of your beliefs would show.
Like,
yeah.
If that political
about it.
issue really mattered to you, you would make art about it instead of an Instagram post.
The other thing is, I think about that, and I think about this a lot to what you're saying, is like back in the day, if you had like something that you were really passionate about, the way that people talk about these issues, back in the day when information wasn't so easy to come by, you had to like search it out and actively put a lot more work into figuring out and learning about the things that you wanted to learn about. Now you can give impassioned Instagram posts about something you only have a surface level amount of understanding for because you can get to the information so easily. It's like when they talk about the conspiracy theorists of old who would have to go, like the internet wasn't the internet it is now, right? Or they'd go read all the books in the sci-fi and conspiracy section of Barnes and Noble or half-price books. You had to work harder to have a cause or an idea or a thing that you were passionate about back in the day than you do now. Now,
what's the Dunning-Kruger?
That kind of, yeah, like, so it's like in a lot of ways, like for somebody like that's caring about Israel Palestine, it's like you've been assaulted with an onslaught of media showing you how awful what's going on is, which means it's a natural human reaction to react heavily to something like that. To be appalled by it. That makes perfect sense. That's human to do that. But back in the day, to me, that's a lot different than choosing to then go and make art about something, because then you will have to have a lot more of a deeper understanding of what is actually being discussed here, which is why art was so much
rather than just
richer.
A knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, exactly.
To something.
It's why South Park, I think, is as good as they are, even though a lot of people think that they've lost their stuff. Fine. Sure, they're not as great as they used to be. But they still, when they made their recent Panderverse special, it dunks on both people because it's a more nuanced take than what the initial reaction from a person who has a knee-jerk reaction to what's going on in Hollywood is. Right? So you have to work harder to know more about what you're talking about. At least you did back in the day. And now I feel like what you're saying is like the knee-jerk reaction doesn't make for great art.
It's easy.
Exactly.
No one wants to put in as much effort. And going back to this headline, Kim Petras just seems desperate to seem edgy and provocative, and everyone in the music industry is trying to be that, and they're not that.
How would you do edgy? Like, what would be edgy these days?
I don't know, because I feel like, again, I feel like I've mentioned this before a couple times, but the crime of our era is self-censorship. So how do you convey through art, not conveying things through art? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Besides, I guess, stating controversial opinions that we all kind of tacitly know but do not admit to.
I mean, dudes like Ryan Long, that's somebody who's actually doing well thought out comedy now in his skits and stuff like that. That takes more than one perspective and distills it down into a piece that actually has a commentary on the social issue that it's talking about. When he does woke versus racist, that's an interesting idea that he distills down to a 3.5-minute video, but that's not going to be on Comedy Central. We're not talking about the mainstream. The problem is the mainstream of today is the conservative Puritan ideas of the past, right? So now they're just puritanical in a different way. They were pushing back on a conservative majority back in the early 2000s and the 90s, whereas now they're the Puritans, and you can't push back on them because they're the establishment.
Yeah, but similar to that didn't last forever. I don't think this will either.
Well, I mean, it will require the next generation of artists to be willing to call this stuff out and be in positions of power. They will have to both make the art and be in the position to allow the art to go to market at these companies.
It bears repeating, by the way, a lot of people don't know this, but Kim Petras was one of the first, like before Jazz Jennings, one of the first child trans activists who was given these, completely irreversible sex change surgeries as a minor, and was made to go on TV and talk about it and promote it. And that is what the establishment was when Kim Petras was growing up. And that's what, that's the culture that Kim Petras is still promoting to these fans. It's like, you're not breaking any new ground here.
No, nor will they, and that's going to keep happening. I don't see a cultural change there. I don't, and I think the reason for that is that these causes are largely supported by women who believe that these are good ideas, right? And the men fall in line because they don't want to get in trouble for calling this stuff out, which is a problem from both sides, right? It's why women's sports are going to be screwed forever. It will never change because women will never stand up and push back on it. And guys are like, not my problem, I'm not getting involved, right? Because they're told, these are our spaces, stay out, unless, of course, it's a trans person and then let them in. I don't see this stuff changing in the art world anytime soon because we're talking about the mainstream. The art has changed. It's just you have to look for it outside of the mainstream halls of art, right? I saw an interesting thread the other day that was saying like conservatives have never been good at art. It was this really fun. It's so funny because this guy writes this long, like 9 attached thread about conservatives being bad at art. And the first response just posts a picture of Lord of the Rings and says, this is conservative art.
So there's that.
And then he gets dunked on for it was great.
And look at any cathedral that was built in the last millennia.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
That doesn't really stand up to scrutiny.
All right, let's go to Super Chats.
Cora Nelson said, Brett and Mary, it is very important you know that green olives are gross and black olives are delicious. # mocha is the justice.
You're wrong.
I don't even know the difference between green olives and black olives.
I know that green olives are delicious and black olives are bleh.
I like olives.
They're all the same to me. Carnell said, let's be real, Mary and Dane are the Janice and Damien of PCC. Dane seems like the kind of guy to yell out in a crowd, she doesn't even go here. Are you that guy? Are you Damien?
Who's Damien?
The gay best friend of Janice.
Yeah, I guess.
Except you're not gay.
Yeah.
We'll clarify that. Wolfpack,
I am every woman.
You're every woman. Wolfpack Productions said, Brett, you're not alone. Always hung out at the skate parks, and everyone would joke about me liking the nerdy girl look, glasses, bangs look, and this was before it became popular in the 2010s.
The girl in question did not necessarily look nerdy. She was just very, very smart. It's just, she graduated high school at like 15 and was like done with college by the time I was done with college, and I was a couple years older.
She didn't have glasses or bangs?
She did not have glasses. She had bangs at one point, I think.
High Voltage 75 said, for the crisis party, aka annoy Dane with loud noises time, sorry, not sorry.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And I was very glad to do that. Because it makes me very happy when Dane gets freaked out by the crisis
You
party
should
sound effect.
do it to contribute to the show.
It's one of my few joys in life these days is watching Dane jump and be startled.
It really is.
Let's do one more.
Austin Brown said, excellent Denzel movie, Glory, amazing cast.
I'll have to see it. That's one that I haven't seen, and I'm a Denzel fan, so I will have to go and check it out. Let's pull off the rest. We got some fun here for the end, ladies and gentlemen. What should we start with first? We've got two lists of quotes here to get through today because celebrities saying stupid things are always good for the brain.
Yeah, we covered this before. It's celebrity quotes that are better than SSRIs that will cure your depression. Firstly, Ellen DeGeneres saying that she felt trapped in her mansion during COVID lockdowns.
Which list is this from? Is this from the BuzzFeed? Which number?
Number 10.
Okay, here. Let's
she
go
said,
down.
one thing I've learned being in quarantine is that this is like being in jail is what this is. It's mostly because I've been wearing the same clothes for 10 days and everyone in here is gay. But
get it?
You can shower.
A lot of people during the lockdowns would have loved to be locked down in a mansion instead of an apartment.
Oh yeah.
But
A studio apartment in DC.
that's just a tad,
for example.
just a tad out of touch. That's where you were.
I like number 12 when Priyanka Chopra clapped for all of the healthcare workers from her balcony during COVID while we all went home to our studio apartments hoping we weren't sick every day.
Oh, brother.
Was she serious?
It's great. It's I like the
I'm sure they heard her.
Dude, truly, the TikTok nurses during the pandemic was, for me, the most horrifying moment of humanity.
just
The dancing nurses.
they're just trying to deal with the stress. I'm like, bro, that's a dance line. That required a choreographer.
Yeah.
Like, there's a dude over there who's saying places everyone. Like, that's just propaganda.
Yeah. I love that the first one here is when Demi Lovato had her froyo breakdown.
Yes. Yep.
She was extremely offended that froyo place didn't have other options than sugar-free.
Dude, what about the diabetics?
She said, finding it extremely hard to order froyo from Big Chill Official when you have to walk past tons of sugar-free cookies and other diet foods before you get to the counter. Do better, please. Hashtag diet culture
Do
vultures.
better.
There's literally nothing in the world that's ever come out of saying do better that hasn't pissed someone off. Nobody likes hearing that
She's
phrase.
like, it's hard for me to feel at peace with being fat when I see skinny people all around me.
Yep.
You should stop existing.
Do better is on the level of cringe and louder for the people in the back.
When Nikki DiMartino, a YouTuber, said that she is broke after buying a house and complained that she had to sacrifice her weekly shopping sprees for clothes and makeup hauls.
She said, I can pay it, but it's a really high mortgage. What I'm dealing with now is like, I'm paying my mortgage, but I don't really have wiggle room anywhere else in my life. There's literally no money going towards me anymore. I can't tell you the last time I had a shopping spree that wasn't a sponsored video.
Wow.
Your life and most other people's lives are very, very different, lady.
That must be so hard. The only time you can go on a shopping spree is when Dior gives you $10,000.
Yep.
Wow. Gwyneth Paltrow's ski trial.
The whole thing.
I won't hear this. I found it endearing.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She's so inaccessible. She's so rich, so vapid. I have no problem with a person just telling me I'm above you in almost every way, financially and in life, and that's just the way things are.
She's the poster girl for that.
Yeah.
Viral moments, including Gwyneth saying she lost half a day of skiing while on the stand, and the plaintiff's lawyer asking about her friendship with Taylor Swift.
And the lawyer who seemed to be like a huge Gwyneth Paltrow stan, who is just like really excited to talk to her.
The lawyer, may I ask how tall you are? I'm just under 5'10". I'm so jealous. I think I'm shrinking though. I have to wear 4-inch heels just to make it to 5'5".
Yep.
Well, they're very nice.
These I want to go to some of these other ones from these great dumb celebrity quotes.
No, wait, the 7th one though. You can't skip 7.
The
Pepsi commercial?
Yeah.
A lot of people forgot about this Kendall Jenner's brand deal with Pepsi, where she gives Pepsi to riot police at a protest.
He's like, hey.
They're like, what's hot with the kids right now? Protesting.
Protesting is.
And Kendall Jenner.
Chill out with a Pepsi, huh?
I've got this list here of Carl Everett, pro baseball player and coach. So the quote says, God created the sun, the heavens, and the earth, and then made Adam and Eve. The Bible never said anything about dinosaurs. You can't say there were dinosaurs when you never saw them. Somebody actually saw Adam and Eve eating apples. No one ever saw Tyrannosaurus Rex.
That's so base.
So base.
Shaquille O'Neal says, a reporter asked Shaquille O'Neal, did you visit the Parthenon during your trip to Greece? Shaquille O'Neal responded, I can't really remember the names of the clubs we went to.
Did you guys?
Are you going to go to the Parthenon nightclub when you go to Greece?
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys remember the Shack Pack?
What?
Burger King had.
Oh, yes, I do. Shaq is the man.
Dude.
Wait, what is that?
Oh my goodness.
Dude, I'm going to pull up a picture of it.
Pull up the Shack Pack.
Yeah.
So this is what like the first like fast food sponsor thing in my lifetime.
Okay.
And it was a particularly big hamburger with fries that came with cheese.
It's right there.
This was the revolution.
Oh, my, I'm hungry just looking at it.
Now Taco Bell does this.
I'm
The
hungry.
Shack Pack. Dude.
I'm hungry just looking at it. Please give it to me. Shaq
And
is the man.
They didn't have it in Puerto Rico.
Also, Shaq.
For shame.
If I remember, Shaquille O'Neal's the one who's like, he's like sending his kids to, like, his kids will not get their inheritance unless they go to college or something like that.
I thought that was Jackie Chan.
That's
no,
like
they're just not
everyone.
getting any money. Jackie Chan's kids get no money no matter what.
That's so boomer.
I know.
It is
I know.
pretty boomer.
They're
No, it
like
is.
the most.
No, it
Like,
is.
you're not going to get any
Frivolous.
inheritance until you get into 6 figures of
It's
debt.
the definition of like, and they go to college for free because dad's paying for it. But it's like, it actually kind of makes sense for him because there's no debt coming with it. So the idea is like, can you finish something you
better
start?
waste 4 years of your life
Exactly.
learning
It's
about
so boomer.
underwater basket weaving, or else you're not getting my inheritance.
Oh, somebody mentioned Shaq Fu. I love that game. It was a Sega Genesis game. Shaq Fu. It's incredible.
And then there's one where he was like a genie.
Yep.
Shaq's the man.
They would never make it today.
They would not. We've got more
Why not?
quotes here, ladies and gentlemen.
It's cultural
from-
appropriation.
It is true.
Oh.
This is we passed. Britney Spears once said, "I've never really wanted to go to Japan simply because I don't like eating fish, and I know that's very popular out there in Africa."
Ah, yes.
What?
Based.
I like.
Africa, right next door to Tokyo.
Perfect. Paris Hilton once said, No, I didn't go to England. I went to London.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay, this is a low-key based quote from Jaden Smith. If everybody in the world dropped out of school, we would have a much more intelligent society.
yeah.
Exactly.
That's
So
just a
true.
fact.
On accident. I'm sure
Yes,
he didn't know what he was saying.
He didn't
but-
realize that what he was saying was smart. Christina Aguilera once said, "So where's the Cannes Film Festival being held this year?"
It's in the name, Christina.
Jessica Simpson once said, "Is this chicken or is this fish? I know it's tuna, but it says chicken of the sea."
Okay, that sounds like a joke, right?
No, this was famous.
Was that a famous quote?
Really?
Dude, she had a show with Nick Lachey, and it was about getting married spoilers, they get divorced.
Yes.
When asked what political party Justin Bieber would support if he were old enough to vote, he responded, "I'm not sure about the parties, but whatever they have in Korea, that's bad." No specification of which Korea.
No. I mean, I don't think he knows the difference.
Oh wait, how do you skip this banger?
We did this one last time. We were the
it's
last time
so
we did this.
good.
Yeah, smoking kills. If you're killed, you've lost an important part of your life.
So true.
Very smart information
So
from Brooke
true.
Shields right there.
Being alive is an important
Yep.
part of being alive.
Some say the most.
I'm sorry, the Arnold one is really great too. Asked whether he supports gay marriage, Arnold responded, "No, I think gay marriage is something that should happen between a man and a woman."
So true. So true.
Cool.
Kelly Pickler said, "I thought Europe was a country."
It kind of is.
See, know what this is?
I
though?
love the unabashed like bimboism.
No, what it
this.
is this was
Queen.
life. These were, I don't know when this quote was from, but I would venture a guess that this was before you had the internet and your phone, and you had to worry about whether what you said was inherently stupid and something somebody could check right then and there. Yes, that's just a dumb thing to say, but a lot of misquotes back in the day, or like stupid things people said, it's just because you felt more comfortable because you weren't about to be called stupid instantly, right?
Similarly, Mike Tyson said, "I guess I'm gonna fade into Bolivian."
I mean, that could just be his
Lisp.
His lisp. Oh my god.
We have a misogynistic quote from the Dalai Lama saying, "If a female Dalai Lama come, then she must be very attractive. Otherwise, not much use."
Wait, what?
Dalai Lama, come on the show.
Wait.
Explain yourself.
Also, what do you remember? Like, this is like a fever. Like last year, the Dalai Lama got in trouble for
got
like
canceled.
kissing like a
Sucking
child on
tongues
the
or something?
mouth.
No, he like asked a child if he could suck his tongue.
Yeah.
It's weirder than that.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I'm sorry for the language. What is going on in the world today? It really does feel like we've been pushed into an alternate dimension.
Yeah.
What the hell? Sienna Miller says, "I love them. I think the more positive approach you have to smoking, the less harmful it is."
It's all about positive thinking. You can just positive think your lung cancer away.
It's just not going to happen.
what I did.
It's fine. Yeah. Kim Kardashian on her 72-day marriage to Chris Humphries. "I spoke to a girl today who had cancer, and we were talking about how this is hard for her. But it taught her a big lesson on who her friends are and so much about life. She's 18, and I was like, that's how I feel."
Wow.
It's up there with like rich Kim Kardashian telling you to just get up and work harder.
That was a big controversy
It was.
because the conservatives weren't quite sure what to do with that quote.
Yeah.
Like, she's saying pull up your bootstraps, but she's Kim Kardashian.
It's always harder when it comes from somebody who's just like,
Listen, I paid 3 strawberries for my house.
it's good. Like, good advice can come from someone even if it seems ridiculous, right? Craig T. Nelson, Wesley would be very happy if he found out that.
Oh, don't read it then. Nothing to make Wesley happy.
He says, "I've been on food." He says, "I've been on food stamps and welfare. Anybody help me out? No."
That's awesome.
That's pretty bad.
That rules. Oh my god, that's the best one.
That one's pretty bad.
I'm picturing some Joe taxpayers like, technically I helped you out.
This comment says,
God.
well, some people consider them a lifestyle.
Bill O'Reilly.
Says, I'll tell you why religion's not a scam. In my opinion, all right? Tide goes in, tide goes out, never a miscommunication. You can't explain that. You can't explain why the tide goes in. I mean, this is one of those things where it's like, again, because of the internet now, you can look up, like, all you have to do is Google. Why is it's like when somebody says you don't care how the radio works. You don't know how the radio works as long as you get your morning forecast.
This one from Amanda Bynes is like next level crazy. Her comment to Rihanna: "Chris Brown beat you because you're not pretty enough."
What?
Is that real? Can somebody Jamie, pull that up. I need somebody to fact check.
We don't
that.
fact check.
Back
here.
when she was shit posting on Twitter, I don't doubt that she tweeted that for a second.
Holy shit. This is what we lost when America became politically correct.
True.
Celebrity. See, right there. What you just read is how you do Celebrity Mean Girls too.
Oh no.
Yes.
Yes.
Literally.
Just
Yeah.
evil.
This one, Geraldo Rivera said, I'm urging the parents of Black and Latino youngsters particularly to not let their young children go out wearing hoodies. I think the hoodie is as much responsible for Trayvon Martin's death as George Zimmerman was.
Okay. No.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh goodness.
Of course, we have the Kelly Osbourne
Yep.
comment.
What did
That's
Mitt
old
Romney
news.
say?
I believe in America, in an America where millions of Americans believe in an America, that's the America millions of Americans
So
believe
true.
in. That's the America I love.
Let's all try and say this one once. I gotta try this because I'm a bad reader. I believe in an America where millions of Americans believe in an America that's the America millions of Americans believe in. That's the America I love. That sounds like,
So
you know what it
true.
sounds like? It sounds like he was reading a speech and he lost his place and he tried to like reel it back in.
Yeah.
Like Kamala Harris wrote it. Like, I believe
that.
in America.
David Beckham says, we're definitely going to get Brooklyn christened. We don't know into which religion.
Based.
Yeah. Some of these are from politicians.
Yep.
I didn't expect that.
Dan Quayle says, it's time for the human race to enter the solar system.
It's about time.
Madonna, listen, everyone is entitled to my opinion.
That is the mindset of like most celebrities.
Dude, I saw young
Actually.
Madonna. She was so adorable.
She was really cute before all the plastic surgery.
No, beyond like physical, like her personality,
Yeah.
like she was electric.
Elizabeth Hurley says, I've always thought that Marilyn Monroe looked fabulous, but I'd kill myself if I was that fat. I went to see her clothes in the exhibition, and I wanted to take a tape measure and measure what her hips were. She was very big. Damn!
Whoa.
Hot chick beef.
Damn, dude.
And she had a 24-inch waist. That's crazy.
We should leave the show there.
She is the Gwyneth Paltrow of fat chicks. She's unattainable.
Whoa.
And yeah. holy
Elizabeth
crap.
Hurley, come on the show.
Yikes.
We need to get her and Jordan Peterson together to start a no fat chicks campaign.
No fat chicks. Not like my daughter.
George Goebel says, if it weren't for electricity, we'd all be watching TV by candlelight.
Wow.
So true.
Lots to unpack
Okay.
there.
We have a $20 super chat here from Gordon Shumway. Says, speaking of Mike Tyson, he once said in an interview that he once partook in skullduggery.
My brother-in-law and I busted out laughing, thinking Tyson just made up a word. Turns out it's actually a real thing.
I mean, it's a term that
For
I've
what?
heard before. For mischief, right? It's just a term for mischief.
Wouldn't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a good old boy.
This one from Sylvester Stallone is, the only happy artist is a dead artist because only then you can't change. After I die, I'll probably come back as a paintbrush.
By the way, here it does skullduggery, underhanded or unscrupulous behavior.
Okay.
Trickery.
That's your dictionary word of the week.
There you go. Lena Dunham. Now I can say that I still haven't had an abortion, but I wish I had.
It's on her bucket list.
Of course. Yep.
Cameron Diaz
do you think
said-
Sylvester Stallone would come back as a paintbrush? I figured he'd come
I
back as
think he
boxing
can.
gloves.
Yeah, just let him have it.
Yeah. Cameron Diaz said, I've been noticing gravity since I was very young.
Very, very astute of her.
Since the first time I fell down.
I need to make this like a weekly segment because nothing
really
is,
good.
Nothing has brought me like those were all different. That was a good list. Those were almost all
Okay.
different than our last one.
What would be your out of touch podcaster quote?
Of like something that
Oh, the Ben Affleck.
I say
shit.
stuff all the time that's stupid and
True.
and out of touch. So I'm sure I've said might probably be me saying podcast.
Probably would be me saying, like, have you guys noticed that the sun isn't yellow anymore? Have you noticed that recently?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I'll stare at the sun next time and
Just keep an eye out for it. Okay, let's finish up these super
do it.
chats. Shane H. Wilder said, Mary, it's not the first time Brett has put my timeline on blast. Luckily, it's just memes and Catholic stuff. LOL, don't worry. Mary is getting a patriotic meme on Saturday for Veterans Day.
there we go.
Good.
Okay, and he also said, I got Mocha on twice. You're welcome, Olivia. I'm sure she's very grateful that you did that.
She is very grateful.
Quite Blackpilled said, "Sup, every woman."
Hello.
Sup.
That
Quiet,
was for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Quiet Inari said, "Don't be a Zinfidel, Dan."
Dude, they suck.
Dan?
I mean,
Dan.
oh, come on. Put an A in it.
Dan Font. OrganizedBusinessServices.com said, "Since Brave, I'm making money in RE. Thanks, Mary." I don't know what you're thanking me for.
Because you suggested Brave browser to everyone.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
even remember doing that.
Basic attention tokens.
Yep.
Okay, Shane H. Wilder said, "Wait, Sam Smith had to dress up as a fat devil? I thought that was how he normally looked."
Somebody said that my Out of Touch podcaster quote would be saying you'd be really good at doing drugs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Dane, you weren't there to catch that live, but Brett,
You say that to me.
last week, he literally said to me, "You'd be great at doing drugs."
Wow.
But don't.
I prefaced as like, don't do it, but you'd be great.
Because
at
I
it.
said that I like Diablo sauce at Taco Bell.
So it was something about like the eyes watering. I don't remember what it was, but
How do you go from-
it's because you said it clears your sinus passages or something like that.
Oh.
I was like, I too once did a bunch of drugs that cleared my sinus passages, but that's what pled to
Okay.
me being like, wow, you'd be great at doing drugs.
You're just adding to the Out of Touch Brett Dasovic quotes list
At
right
least he
now.
believes in you.
Yeah.
I have faith.
I got one thing going for me.
I have faith.
Blue Blaze 2323 said, "So I'm just curious, did you guys ever watch One Piece live action and cover it? Because it was pretty faithful to source material with making some welcome change."
I'm going to tell you what happened with Netflix in this one, and this is their fault. I tried to watch One Piece 4 separate times. Every single time, it would kick me out of the app.
Weird.
And I'm not going to watch it on my phone.
Have you tried paying for it?
What? I said I tried to watch it on Netflix, so meaning the app would open, and then it would just like, it would play for like 3 to 5 minutes, and then it would just freeze and kick me out of the app. So I just gave up. I just haven't even discontinued my Netflix subscription, but I'm about to because I haven't used it in so long because the app just doesn't work well.
I hate Netflix. I'm going to cancel it. I'm going to get Hulu.
Oh.
Shots fired.
Dude, absolutely. Hulu is by far
Yeah.
the best streaming service.
Until Walmart Plus comes out.
We're still waiting on that one.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
Love that old man.
I would love a Walmart Plus original where it's just all of the people who get decked while trying to steal stuff.
just fight videos.
It's like bum fights back in the day, but bum fights in Walmart.
Hell yeah.
Where it's like a dude, they're like fighting, and they just like he opens like one of the freezer doors, and it just crashes into the guy's head.
But you see yourself in the background and you're like, what the fuck?
And then there's Charlie D'Amelio in the background filming her video in her Walmart jacket and stuff like that.
People were still dunking on her for that, by the way. I'm surprised at the attention span that they have to remember.
Yep.
High Voltage 75 said, "Who can do more push-ups, Brett or Dane?"
Me,
I
'cause
love how
I'm
I'm automatically
jacked.
disqualified. Like, they didn't even question it. Who do you think? Do you think you could beat Dane?
I don't like what's your average in one go?
Oh, 13.1.
Then I can beat Dane if 13,
No, you can't.
13 push-ups in a row.
Are we
No,
gonna
dude,
do
I don't
this
have an
live?
average.
I can. Like how many do you do sets?
No, not really.
Oh. Well then
What's your average then?
I have been off recently because I've been going back to trying to get back to sit-ups and curls, but like it was 50 most of the time. Sets of 50.
Okay, you got me, man.
But
Yeah, once? Like
Yeah.
nonstop? But girl push-ups or man?
man push-ups.
50?
Whether I could still do that, it'd
He's a
probably
strong boy.
That's pretty good.
It would probably be less than that now, but it was a little bit off.
you
Like,
got it.
when I got hurt skating a couple months ago, it's like it wouldn't even affected like a lot of the stuff that I would have done while working out, but I just was so bummed about not being able to skate that it affected my whole routine. So
I've got a good like half of a push-up in me.
Ah, nice.
At
Maybe
least.
like half of a girl push-up.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah. So don't mess with me.
Somebody says sounds like a competition for episode 500.
Yes.
Push-ups. I mean, I'm going to get smoked, apparently.
I probably wouldn't. It would be less than that now. It's been a couple months since then. So
Just does one arm ones.
like
He's just bluffing now.
yeah.
no, I'm reeling it back. So technically, if I was bluffing, I'd be like, yeah, don't even try me.
The Last of My Kind said, "Missed the live show, but just wanted to say howdy. Also, the YouTube ad blocker failed because so many people downloaded better ad blockers. Streisand effect."
There you go.
Nice.
Geeky James 62 said, "Wow, Shack Pack takes me back and then
Shack
makes me
Pack.
realize, holy crap, I'm old. Class
yeah,
of
brother.
2002, LOL. Hashtag mocha love. Hashtag pineapple pizza love."
Ew.
I need to. There is no love for mocha on this podcast. There never has been. There never will be. So just stop with that.
Dude, Allison called me today, and I was joking about pizza. She said, "Can I put pineapple?" And I hung up on her. That's my boss. And I was like, "No,
You're like,
Too
not
far.
on my
yeah,
watch.
we don't play like this."
Not today.
Yeah.
High Voltage 75 said, "Dane on Gamermaids when?
Literally today.
And very soon.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it the first time you're going on the channel?"
Yep.
Okay, cool. Shane H. Wilder said, "Isn't Walmart Plus just Voodoo since they own it?"
Well, they need to change the name. 'Cause
I
that would
didn't
be-
know they owned Voodoo.
That would be way better. They should.
Nah,
they should
it's gonna
just
be
change the
Walmart
name.
Plus, and it's gonna be like, today at Walmart Plus, parking lot fights for 10 hours.
They could know what they could do? They could have their own Cartnarks show where like they have like the guys from Cartnarks who have like an episode every day.
Why don't they hire us?
They should hire us for planning their shows, guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we go, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Dane, my friend, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you guys.
Let everyone know where they can find you, including Gamermates.
Well, I'm literally gonna go downstairs to go to Gamermates in a bit, but until then, you can find me on Twitter, Twix. I love Twix, by the way, at Dane Font, and now I shall spell that out for you: DaneFont. Also, sorry, watch Infringed on timcast.com.
Ooh, that was a good.
It's a good one. I worked on that.
There you go. All right, Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on Twix. That is also Mary Archived. I just wanted to ask you guys, do you think you could crush a watermelon with your legs?
No.
No? Is that really difficult?
Maybe Brad, Mr. All 50 push-ups, but
More
What would
difficult
push-ups have
than
to
it
do with my
looks.
feet?
I don't know,
and my
dude.
legs.
Just-
No, I could not.
Episode 500?
No, that is not happening. All right, guys. Wait, where did
That
I leave
kinda
off?
threw you
Yes,
off.
it threw
Sorry.
me off. Guys, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. We got a $20 super chat here at the last minute from Black Rain Love. Says, "Let me clarify, the podcast is Gold Digger Comic Universe Review. It's over 300 comic issues. It's the longest running independent comic earning a Guinness World Record. We live read one issue each episode." That's awesome. That's really, really awesome. Is that like, you don't have to super chat this, but is that like audio podcast? Is it on YouTube? You should, if you want to leave that in the chat here, I'll try to get it before we go so people know where to go for that. But that sounds really, really awesome, man. But yes, guys, if you want to follow me, you can follow me at Brett Dasovic on Instagram and Twix for both of those. Pop Culture Crisis is here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon Pacific, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you'd like to listen rather than watch. And if you'd like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at PopCulture_show. Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. I'm looking for his tweet here or to see if he responded here. I wanted to figure out whether it's audio or visual. But guys, go out and look for the name of the podcast is Gold Digger Comic Universe Review. Sounds awesome. Guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Later.
See ya.
Post-credit scene, ladies and gentlemen. Gold Digger Comic Universe Review is available on Spotify. Go and check it out.